Since elementary school, this boy has dreamed of fantastical buildings. After many tries, he crafted his perfect structure. He was dead wrong. He started with a proposal. Just his usual routine. This moment birthed dreams becoming reality, as virtual reality exploded in Japan's MMORPGs. Intense battles hooked players, while the freedom to build anything from furniture to massive structures lured crafters worldwide. Miyabi included, he crafted in his spare time. He finally realized his childhood vision, building a romantic haven. Tension annoyed him, but he grew accustomed. Stuck in a soul-crushing office job, Miyabi found peace by crafting for others. He savored this accomplishment. Game admin emailed him, "Guide to Special World." Too early for results, curiosity made him open it. The eel praised his designs, seeing him as a master matchmaker. Overjoyed, the admins thanked him by sending him to a unique world. They requested his data transfer. Deeper crafting awaited, so he clicked yes instantly. He instantly faded away. He woke up deep in a forest. Assuming a strange server switch, he explored his options. He heard bandits ordering someone to freeze and ditch their carriage. Miyabi wondered why bandits plagued the safe zone. Thinking it's a realistic update, a girl spawns to face the bandits, locking eyes. She signaled him oddly. The quest began as he stepped forward, but her signal puzzled him. He burst out, shouting at 8-9 bandits to divert them, the bandit leader unfazed. Challenged Miyabi, he ordered his men to kill everyone. Miyabi didn't expect this. Liz introduced herself and charged the bandits with her spear. Unleashing a stone bullet, it struck Miyabi's arm, causing real pain. Despite advanced tech, pain shouldn't be possible. Miyabi realized this wasn't a game, but a real world. Liz tied up the bandits. She'll turn them over to the guards, apologizing for the trouble and introducing herself. Miyabi dismissed her worries, then introduced himself. He'd never seen a fight like this. Liz asked if he was an adventurer, but he was a civilian, making her feel terrible. Seeing his confusion, she explains his epic armor made her think he was a fighter. Miyabi apologized for the mix-up, despite his harmless look. Liz offered to guide him to Angela as an apology. Already lost, he accepted but asked for a moment to finish a task first. Miyabi scoured the forest for sticks and stones. He tried ripping off the headset, but it was stuck. Trapped in a strange world, he had to stay low to avoid suspicion. He started by testing his powers. He checked his inventory, but this world's rules were different. To simplify things, he issued a mental command. He's instantly warped into a massive space inside Yuma Sakai. Instead of a window, his inventory floated in his mind, including every rock and branch he'd gathered. Next, he tried crafting. Basic crafting made him nervous, but he built a table from branches and rocks. He confirmed the crafting system. Easier than in-game, he mentally summoned any recipe, and despite differing mechanics, it felt familiar. Next, he crafted a stone axe, a versatile wood-chopping weapon, perfect to start. He needed 10 branches and 30 rocks, and his axe made gathering them way faster. Testing the axe, it flawlessly boosted harvest efficiency. Automatic collection confirmed he could survive in this real world with crafted items. He builds anything with gathered materials, balancing adventure and a peaceful home he constructs for his family. Excited, his dream became reality. He returned to the carriage, Liz startled at the stone axe, unnerved by his odd expression. Miyabi played it cool, claiming he forged the axe for combat. Liz noticed he entered empty-handed, but he'll build it with rocks and branches. He's a crafter. Liz thought it odd he went unarmed. Miyabi asked for the axe, explaining she's a magician. Guards questioned Miyabi's lack of protection, but Liz snapped at their rudeness. Miyabi shrugged it off as normal. Liz checked he had his stuff. They press on, following a map, defeating goblins. They reached Angel City Gate. Heavy security screams Major City. Soldiers halted their approach. Miyabi tensed, but Liz called it routine. Captain Angela thanked them for capturing bandits and asked who led the group. Relieved the soldiers only detained bandits, Miyabi heard Liz declare herself leader. Soldier checked her C-rank record, asked about 6 members. Liz clarified Miyabi was a civilian. The group let Liz take charge. Miyabi was stunned, but Liz explained her superior rank made her the group's leader. A member praised Liz's attentiveness for aiding the team. Miyabi apologized, admitting surprise a woman led, and commended her for earning veteran adventurers' trust. He blushed at his praise, and he noticed. Soldiers took bandits. Adventurers learned their reward would come later via the guild. The passenger thanked them, then the others left Liz and Miyabi alone. Miyabi asked Liz if he needed ID to enter town. Liz was shocked he lacked an ID despite his inventory. He admitted he never had one, so she warned him entry costs money. But he had no money. He joked it was a double miracle. No ID, no funds. After silence, Liz scolded him, reluctantly firm. She got him a 3-day pass, but staying longer requires a guild ID. Inside Angela, Miyabi thanked Liz for her help and the loan. She reminded him to repay and follow her terms. Liz set 2 conditions. He registers as a guild adventurer and parties with her, letting her track him via the guild to prevent his escape. He needed materials for crafting, so joining the guild was easy. Second, assist Liz with tasks on requests, mainly carrying her equipment. Distracted by shops, Liz snapped Miyabi back to focus. He couldn't fight but felt ready for support. He expected the guild, but Liz led him to an inn, insisting on rest first. 5 silver coins nightly. Change reveals 1 gold equals 10 silver, valuing the coin at roughly 10,000 yen. After pocketing 20,000 yen from the girl, he swore to pay her back. Next morning they hit the guild. The crowd stunned Miyabi. Liz saw his reaction, asking if he was new. Miyabi, hiding his game knowledge, claimed he was from a town-less rural area to explain his awe, so Liz warned him not to wander off, dazzled. Liz met Alina and reported the escort mission complete. Alina greeted her, asking if she knew Miyabi, while her beauty stunned the girl. Miyabi flashed a charming smile and registered as an adventurer on Liz's advice. Alina, polite, introduced herself, eyeing Miyabi. Liz notices his nose growing longer. He called it a normal greeting after their chaotic start. Then Alina grabbed Liz's card and told her to wait for a status check. Alina gave Miyabi an application, its unfamiliar script surprisingly readable. His data transfer did it. The guild has 7 ranks earned through performance. This card doubles as an ID and a bank account, since carrying cash on quests is just too risky. The form demanded civility, no fights, making them wonder if adventurers lacked manners. Liz was stunned by his intense focus. Miyabi's corporate past made him meticulous. Liz says 90% skipped the reading. Miyabi doubted until a lunner confirmed. The guild thanked him for his care, trusting him as Liz's acquaintance. Miyabi saw the form's simple rules meant Alina struggled to manage it. He completed the application. He signed in Japanese, but Liz missed the error and told him to list supporter as his job. Miyabi explained that long missions ruin gear, so they hire temporary supporters to help. Relieved Liz missed his Japanese, Miyabi asked if she meant a support adventurer. She confirmed, but warned supporters still fight, though tasks like fetching water or meals meant he'd skip night guards, making it safer. Miyabi thought support work was too easy, but Liz snapped back that long escort missions were pure stress. Supporters ensured requests succeeded, handling routine chores. Tiredness makes tempers flare, so supporters prevent fights. Miyabi agreed, registering as a supporter. He submitted party forms to Alina and Liz, drained from the escort mission. He bid him goodbye, then split. Alina gave Miyabi his adventure card, requesting his temporary pass. He pulled it from inventory, shocking her with his producer status. He asked if producers usually become adventurers. She approved, noting most stick to commercial guilds. She said some producers tried adventuring, but their poor endurance led to rejection. Miyabi was unfazed, sure few shared his fiery passion. She cheered him on, explaining production guilds now partner with adventurers. She then advised using his inventory where time stops to store demon meat or rare parts for higher value. He'd grind for materials and pay Liz back fast. Crafting starts with gathering, so he'll farm quests for efficiency. He picks the Adventurers Guild over production to avoid drama. He asked for safe gathering spots outside the city. She recommended the east as most secure. Miyabi stepped out of the Ventures Guild, feeling completely disoriented. He couldn't find his way. All city buildings looked identical. Every direction looked identical. As a Japanese guy, he was totally lost. He'd relied on Liz and forgot the inn's name. Dusk fell. He worried if Liz was worried about him. He spots a beast-eared girl with a sword, clearly an adventurer. With no one else around, he asked her for directions to his inn. He pointed, but he was confused. He hadn't specified, so she might have meant herself. His request stunned her. Had he picked the wrong person? No choice. He apologized for startling her. He flashed his adventure card, explained he lost his inn, and asked for help. After checking his card, she revealed her own. Her card revealed she was B-ranked. He shocked this cute girl out, tanked Liz. Mel pointed, calling him a lost adventurer, then offered help. Her odd speech didn't bother him. He thanked her. She pressed for the inn's location. He remembered the east gate, but another adventurer distracted him. Mel turned serious, asking if it was a girl. Mel knew the answer's direction and quickly led him to his inn, astonishing Miyabi. It was simple. This east gate spot was the only safe zone for girls and rookies since alcohol was banned. Miyabi realized Liz chose it for his safety and thanked Mel, who pushed him to persist. To show her thanks, Miyabi gave her a gift. Broke and unable to pay, he decided to craft a gift. He grabbed some forest wood and started carving. He unleashed his material disassembly skill. His inventory extension automatically broke down materials as he grabbed a wooden block and shaped it with magic. He carved a cute animal from the block, and a blushing Mel gladly took it. Just like Yume Sakai, every item he made mattered. Back then, they were just data, so seeing someone treasure his gift warmed his heart. At night, the freezing cold kept him awake without a heater. Warming up, he grabbed breakfast and ran into Liz. They hit the dining hall, complaining about the cold. He sat her down and returned with hot soup and bread. He brushed Liz's icy hands. Liz's poor circulation. Better than freezing on squirt missions, she loved hot food without the biting wind. Usually, frozen limbs made rest impossible, but now Miyabi saw why supporters were essential. Let's check. He knew she'd appreciate extra blankets, gladly paying a silver coin daily for priority, but he worried others would call it overcharging. Liz snapped he'd change his tune after a rainy morning, mocking him with tales of brutal heat and hard ground until Miyabi halted the missions. After breakfast, they hit the guild to grab their first team mission. They browsed C and D rank quests. Miyabi saw a leaner post new jobs, but the moment she left, the adventurers started fighting. Liz says they're fighting for top E and F rank jobs, forcing solo Miyabi into the chaos. He's staying with Liz. Frustrated by the messy request board, Liz quickly straightened the papers. Impressed by her care, Miyabi asked her choice while reviewing options. She decided just as an angry man spotted them. Miyabi asked for details and Liz revealed the mission, kill ground sheep. Rewards for the casually named quest just spiked, making Miyabi uneasy, but Liz, who'd beaten them, reassured him, warning it'd take days. Liz chose the crowded line, ignoring a shorter one nearby. She preferred it. Miyabi saw an encounter. He teased Liz for being a fan and she snapped back embarrassed. She asked if he wanted a beautiful send-off, but Miyabi called it an old man's wish. Liz denied it, comparing it to an ideal older sister sending off her sibling. Miyabi found the comparison even stranger. Alina was pleased Liz and Miyabi began their party activities. Her face soured at the ground sheep request. Liz admitted it'd take time, keeping her from the guild a while. Alina warned them, beware the ground sheep's charge. D-rankers failed this quest, so the reward skyrocketed. She told Miyabi to give it his all but stay safe, wishing them luck. Miyabi understood Liz's comment as Alina's smile and words uplifted his simple nature. Liz caught Alina's strange run, despite his earlier criticism. She teased his old man's mindset. Turns out he was 30. On the western plains, Liz and Miyabi rested. Liz marveled at his endurance, rare for a producer. They walked from Angela, but he wasn't even tired, leaving Liz stunned. Miyabi wasn't tireless, his gear did the work. Built for long shifts, it boosted stamina and cut fatigue. Liz was impressed. Magicians lack vanguard gear, making stamina a nightmare to manage. Liz refused to ask for a break, not wanting to trouble companions, but often pushed too hard, jealous of Miyabi's endurance. He warned breaks keep them safe, but Liz couldn't voice her fatigue as the only exhausted one, realizing why others rushed home. City gates shut at dusk, forcing late rivals into the wild like salarymen missing the last train home. Miyabi faced that too. This world feels like a blessing by comparison. No angry customers, no bossy managers, and a kind teammate. His mind finally healed, finding the peace every modern worker craves. Lost in thought, Liz yelled his name, move. She'd spotted ground sheep. They peered into the bushes. Miyabi spots a deer, but Liz points out the ground sheep hiding right behind it. They spot huge ground sheep. Infamous demons who crushed the vanguards. 10 soldiers couldn't overpower one. Legend says one smashed a castle gate with its horn, but their real threat was their sharp intelligence. Liz orders another flank, sneaking through the brush to hunt the backline mages. Liz's usual strategy, attack wandering beasts from afar but only when alone. No wonder roads were impassable. Miyabi knew no one survived their direct charge. He asked about civilian injuries. She reported none yet, but the roadblocks felt strange. Liz mentioned a village down the road relied on it for supplies, struggling since the demon appeared. The village's survival was at stake. Even as a supporter, Miyabi stayed focused, promising not to hold her back. He asked for more info, but Liz warned him to dodge their charge since he wasn't taking it seriously. She warned not to underestimate them. They charge until they're dead, making this a B-rank threat. Miyabi knew without a fatal blow, they were unstoppable. His comment confused Liz. Ground sheep are weak against surprise tactics. He crafted a shovel, suggesting a pitfall trap. Liz snapped that demons aren't naive. If traps worked, everyone would use them, and they're out of time to dig anyway. Hashi noted Miyabi blasted a hole in seconds, shocking her. He agreed, but reminded her she forgot her team's unique powers. He's sure he can build a perfect pitfall trap. Liz stared in shock, joking he was a mole in a past life as Miyabi laughed. He finished the traps fast, layering plywood over the pit and packing it with dirt. He scattered meadow grass, warning it'd look unnatural, unblended. Magic seamlessly blended the cover. He finished the reverse donut pitfall. Liz stared, it took him under 10 minutes. Pitfall set, it looked so real she questioned its existence. Liz hesitated, so Miyabi asked if ground sheep would charge and told her to bait them with magic. His beast hunt proposal shocked her. Being bait for ground sheep was insane, yet his conviction won Liz's reluctant trust. The plan felt forced, but she fired stone bullets to grab their attention. It instantly worked. The terrifying sheep glared, sparking panic in both. Liz's fear exploded as one charged. Miyabi soothed her. His words failed as the sheep closed in. Liz's confidence collapsed. She knew they'd fight head-on. Liz grabbed his arm as the ground sheep bleated. To Liz's astonishment, it instantly plunged into the pit the moment it stepped on the trap, missing the hole. But the other sheep noticed the trap. Liz thinks she must fight them head-on. Again, they surprised her. Charging sheep tumbled into the pit. Liz was stunned, never expecting the plan to work as Miyabi feigned ignorance explaining pitfalls. It's a simple design, but the deeper the pit, the deadlier the drop, taking anyone who fell out of the fight. Liz couldn't believe they easily crushed so many sheep, even with his explanation. She was wary of Miyabi's insane power. Miyabi acted like a brat when Liz mentioned a serious talk. He expected a love confession, but she shut him down. It was about the pitfall. She'd finish the sheet first, then he'd spill everything about the trap. Liz cast her magic, watching her powerful spell. Miyagi suggested a weaker attack, but she refused. Ground sheep are tough, and she needed one-shot kills for better loot, so she used a charged spell. She hurled a javelin, wiping them all out in one hit. Battle over. Liz felt odd the sheep fight wasn't long or grueling. Miyabi realized crafting could help her. Liz watched him shove a whole sheep into his inventory. He didn't get her shock, thinking supporters always hauled the kills. Liz questioned what inventory held a ground sheet and the dug dirt. Miyabi was baffled, and inventory was just that. She meant inventory capacity, but cut herself off knowing he wouldn't get it. Liz gathered the sheep to rest. This looks good. She understood, but was referring to his inventory's capacity. She enjoyed warm bread on break. Miyabi loved seeing her enjoy it. He stashed it while in town, and Liz asked again about his inventory limit. He replied he was only at 1%. She didn't get it and tried to leave. Frustrated, he explained inventory grows with skill levels, but Liz had no clue what those were. Miyabi didn't know this world had no skill levels. He explained crafting skills expand his inventory and daily gathering boosts capacity in Yuma Sakai. Yuma's gathering skills would skyrocket, turning him into a walking storage unit. Top crafters often had this talent. He figured max storage was standard, but wondered if game rules applied. Liz looked lost in thought, then explained her views on crafters and apologized for upsetting him. Blacksmiths and seamstresses were respected. Crafters made everything, but poorly. They made cheap furniture or repaired walls for poor pay. He called crafting a low-paying production role. Clueless about his past, she assumed he couldn't even go outside without an escort. Wolves and goblins threatened everyone, and even with paid guards, his inventory would quickly overflow with materials. Daily gathering was brutal. Miyabi stood speechless. Yuma easily gathered materials, just avoiding demons, but these crafters couldn't gather freely, stuck fixing walls and furniture. Unable to level up, he pitied them. Too busy to fix it himself, Miyabi said money was tough in any job. Recalling her cold escorts, Liz warned that adventuring is lethal, and few ever find fame or fortune. He changed the subject, asking a favor about the ground sheep. She asked what was up. He wanted their wool. She said take whatever he wanted. The guild sold only main parts, discarding wool. Miyabi thanked Liz. He broke down the ground sheep from inventory. Liz was shocked they brought back a whole one. Haunts made medicine, claws and bones crafted weapons and armor, and they had edible meat. This haul promised record profits. She dreamed of a hot spring upgrade, while Miyabi craved a real bath after weeks of bucket washing. Hot water was a luxury, but Liz's mood flipped as she refused to let him disband the party. That cleared, but she demanded they stay partners. Miyabi loved his loot hauling for the extra cash. He wished she were nicer, but hoped their team would last. He hated cleaning the pit. He shook her hand, eager for more collaboration. Liz apologized for her outburst, but since they felt the same, it was fine. Alina was surprised they returned from the request so soon. She asked if they'd finished it. Liz replied the sheep acted independently. Miyabi questioned the secrets, but Liz clung to her adventure pride. Elena looked confused, then relieved they were safe, ordering them to submit proof. Liz, unaware Miyabi dismantled the sheep, suggested the dismantling room. He revealed he'd already processed them, then pulled materials from his inventory for Alina. He found 3 sets of claws, horns, and 2 sheep's meat. Nearby adventurers stared in shock as Miyabi apologized for the overflowing tray and asked to move it. Ellen smiled, promising to process and value the materials right away. The group burst in, stunned by the meat piled on the counter as excited shouts filled the hall. Seeing their reactions, Miyabi asked if ground sheep meat was popular. This says the meat is lean, healthy, and mild. Even women loved it. Delivered 3 hours after the kill, it was incredibly fresh. The guild froze it for raw eating, making it a legendary delicacy. Miyabi remembered Liz's comments. She loved ground sheep too. You won't eat it raw. Alina's back. They received 45 gold for the request, plus 60 gold for well-preserved hands and claws, who normally fetch 10 gold. Lamb meat cost 85 gold coins. They scored 200 gold, but Miyabi demanded a 30% cut for hauling the gear. Liz insisted he earned 70%. Miyabi refused. 70% would ruin his integrity. Liz snapped at him for his debt, demanding he go all out or pay back tenfold. She warned that hesitating would expose him as a mole. Alina, curious, questioned the remark, but they played it cool and headed out. Liz felt Miyabi did most work, so they argued over the money split, but Miyabi countered it didn't matter since he was just a supporter. Higher injury risk meant she deserved more. He'd repay his debt. Liz understood his reasoning but felt he overpaid her. She asked about the reward split. He proposed 6-4, but she rejected it, pushing for an even 5-5 instead. He felt unworthy as a supporter. Liz forced him to accept since their ground sheep loot covered the cost. Miyabi and Liz hit a hot spring. He misjudged the costs, and upgrading to luxury drained his wallet. He liked seeing familiar, welcoming faces. Liz insisted he try the hot spring. He hit the shops first. Confused, Liz told him to warm up and not worry. She headed to the hot springs while Miyabi took off. Big jobs like yesterday's are rare. Adventuring is brutal, so he needs to get organized fast. Food was on his mind. Requests wouldn't always be there, so they needed to prepare while funds lasted. If a request dragged on, securing food would be vital. Miyabi skipped the sauces for plain salt, then stopped and bought every condiment at the stall. Bender thought he browsed, but Miyabi flashed 10 gold coins. Bender relented. He grabbed salt and pepper, then hit a dry goods store for the final essentials. After shopping, he had just 49 gold coins, but knew it was a worthwhile investment. Next, they handled their other needs. He browsed the blacksmiths. Craftsmanship is insane, clearly a master's work. His stone axe was pathetic next to the shop's knives, his crafting no match for pros. Then a man asked if Miyabi was a producer. Miyabi froze, shocked. The man knew he was a producer. He explained weapons are tools judged by weight. Only fanatics or producers grin like that while staring at gear. Miyabi didn't notice his smile until the man pointed it out. He apologized. He waved it off, saying no need. He admitted scrutinizing other blacksmiths' weapons was typical for craftsmen. Miyabi thanked him, needing a knife for self-defense. He asked to buy ironware, but the man demanded a name, so Miyabi introduced himself as a supporter. Wise revealed he was the shop's 3rd-gen owner. He didn't know crafters made weapons, but approved. Weiss asked Miyabi to show his weapon. Miyabi froze, realizing Weiss misunderstood. He just wanted a Jingashiken stove, but now wasn't the time to ask. He flashed his stone axe as Weiss inspected it. Miyabi hoped his crudeness wouldn't dismiss him, but why was he told to follow? Weiss led him to a room packed with iron. Yabai stood stunned by the massive ore piles. He'd never seen so much, not even in the game. Weiss prepped a box of iron ore, matching the supply he gave his rookie smiths. Miyabi asked the cost. Weiss chuckled. Who pays for a stone axe? He knew the adventure crafter was broke. Miyabi felt uneasy taking it free, insisting on paying, but Weiss urged him to take it. If Miyabi forges the ore, he must return. Weiss is dying to see the weapon. Miyabi only thought of cooking his Jingyushukan. He vowed to craft something worthy of Weiss, even if it took a while. Weiss left, obsessed with the stone axe. 2 words cut. Sentence 2. Scraping was common when felling trees, so he was amazed anyone would use a stone axe. Miyaga's lost again, but at least he remembers the name. He started walking, but Mel suddenly appeared, making the lost Miyabi cry with relief. He asked for guidance again. Nell pointed to the inn, but he'd switched to Ferrata. He stayed there too and was heading back. They walked, Miyabi relieved they made it safely. He thanked Mel again and shook her hand. He saw she expected more. With his new materials, he'd craft her something special. He shaped magic, precisely cutting material. And sewing was tedious, but his skill infused the thread with magic. Guide the thread along a magical path, stitching desired areas. Quickly he crafted a cute plushie. Miyabi's final touch, unique to crafters. He infused the surface with magic, using wool to instantly sprout a fluffy layer. The plushie's fine-tuning finished. He missed the crowd gathering to question and praise him. He apologized for the delay, thanking Mel for guiding him. Mel blushed, thanking him for finally using her name. Mel remembered his name, Stunning Yabai. He hoped the plushie would keep him in her thoughts and that she'd love it. Fresh from the bath, Liz greeted him and asked what she missed. He had played dumb about the crafting scene. She soaked in the hot springs 3 times while he was gone. Her relaxed look made his heart race and she urged him to jump in. Miyabi blushed, distracted by her mature look. Liz felt his cold cheeks, warning him to stay safe as an adventurer. Miyabi snapped back, confused. Liz asked what's wrong, and he admitted scolding himself for getting distracted. The age gap felt wrong, so he hit the hot springs to clear his head. Next chapter, Miyabi and Liz enter a lumber paradise. An hour ago, Liz warned Miyabi today's jobs were bad. Rain had ruined the ground, making every request a mess. A round trip was their best option, to avoid muddy camping while they fixed disorganized request papers. The materialist got me by hyped. His hype shocked her, but he stood firm. Tension gathering and no crafter stays calm. The forest's diverse trees amazed him. Different species thrived close, letting him sense each tree's color, luster, texture for crafting. His tree talk made Liz uneasy. She said, "Take what you need, but log only this area." Falling trees attract demons. Suddenly, Miyabi's tree vanished. Making her think she dozed, Miyabi clarified his craft skill activated. Liz laughed, insisting a tree couldn't just enter inventory, convinced it was a dream, but Miyabi repeated it, proving it was real. She let it slide for now, but she couldn't lower her guard. Miyabi worked his stone axe until its material-based durability shattered. He wanted an iron axe, but ore was rare. Liz said they'd de-move after this tree, and Miyabi asked why. She warned excessive logging in the demon-filled forest would disrupt the ecosystem, so rules mandated incremental harvesting from different forests. Miyabi couldn't gather recklessly like in his game. Liz explained the rule usually applied to countries logging, not individuals like Miyabi. His concern and courage flared up. This stopped him listening for a sound. From bushes, she magically killed a beast. Miyabi saw a giant, but Liz called it a small wolf. He's stunned. She sensed an enemy he missed, but Liz explains the wind masks noise with rustling leaves. Makes detection easier. Miyabi listened, failed. She said it's experience. Pointed to another wolf. Liz had him stash the wolf for profit, and they pushed on. Liz proposed a break, but Miyabi wouldn't sit on the damp ground. The ground was wet, so Liz picked a root for lunch. Miyabi perked up hearing lunch, telling Liz to trust him. He cleared the land and built a pergola, leaving Liz stunned. He called a grand gazebo in the wild excessive. Confused, Miyabi urged him to reconsider. He grabs a blanket for warmth, but Liz still fumes. Her dislike wasn't his skill. Crafting's potential stunned her. Liz loved the warm, comfy seat, but feared the cozy setup would distract her from demons. Miyabi warned her to stay sharp so nothing ruined lunch. Liz relaxed. Miyabi quickly whipped up food, knowing lingering was dangerous. Miyabi built a stove and asked for fire, but she stayed cozy under her blanket. He lit the fire. He used magic circuits to infuse materials with fire, but a mismatch spells disaster. Excessive fire on wood dangerously overheats. The Yun Sakai technique worked for weapons, but it's useless here. Now he had to hit the stove and start crafting. Prepare jingusaken. He served jingusuken, black tea, and note bread as Liz silenced her thoughts and focused on the meal. The sheep meat was incredibly tender, odorless. Salt amplified its taste, and its robust flavor held even with vegetables. Miyabi had never tasted meat like it. The bread was a standout, milky, sweet, and insanely fluffy. Miyabi crafted his own bread. Liz begged for more since it beat store-bought, promising to grab extra seasonings. Miyabi revealed his sauces, and they feasted in the forest until sunset. They spent the day together. Liz saw Miyabi enjoyed himself, and he agreed it was great. He credited her. He had fun, unable to sense demons or follow logging rules. Skilled Liz was invaluable. Miyabi finally lived his dream, crafting, gathering, and eating great food. He asked Liz her dreams. She hesitated. He's terrified of Heat Mocker, but he gave his word. Her goal, a rank adventurer, unique magic helping many. Miyabi felt her dream was finally within reach, while Liz feared A rank was impossible. She only managed intermediate magic, struggling with spells. For a magician like her, A rank seemed impossible. She paused, admitting she lacked the talent for adventuring. Miyabi confidently declared she'd hit a rank. He pointed to the muddy road for those who came far for the quest. Feet trapped in the muck, they battled a demon through a brutal, mud-splattered grind. Even the backline archer had mud in her hair. They defeated the demon, but with curfew looming, they still washed and dried hair. They de-washed their gear in a nearby river. Close to the city, they could rush back even while soaking wet, making Liz smile. Challenged, Miyabi admitted his lie. The request succeeded. Failure meant far more than pain. Adventurers bail on requests, blaming weather and weak parties. He asked who was reliable like Liz, who lends money to those in need. He used her intermediate skills to make her abandon her dream, but shy Liz insisted she'd never quit. Strength isn't everything. Liz told him to wait for muddy adventures. Miyabi whipped up a fish dinner. They grilled trout and salt-crusted fish. Liz was amazed by fresh fish mid-request. They eat plain food traveling. Cooking smells attract demons. And Miyabi whipped up gourmet meals daily. Liz knew she'd never go back, and like Miyabi said, she didn't have to. After another request, Alina thanked them for their efforts, noting their excellent teamwork. Credit me for Liz's choices. She countered Miyabi's capacity was key. Alina noticed Liz smiled more. Miyabi used to smile, but now she constantly scolds him. Alina thinks it's because Liz cares. Enter Liz blush and Alina pause. Miyabi realized Liz and Alina protected each other, but Liz's concern for him wasn't just simple care. Alina noted Miyabi only took similar requests, urging him to vary them, which made Miyabi realize Liz wasn't pursuing her own goals. She was still guarding him. Long quests kill supporters, but Liz kept him safe. Now he'll help her reach her dreams. He refused to hinder Liz's dream. Liz asked his next plan. With time to spare, Miyabi practiced his enchantments. Liz considered studying magic. He urged her to rest, but she refused. They teased and fake argued before bursting into laughter. Miyabi enchanted but struggled. Enchanting is complex. Missing materials or wrong attributes make it a nightmare. Compatible circuits flow magic easily, but clashing attributes make magic leak, damaging material even if it brushes the walls. Precise magic control is vital but tough. He sometimes failed on purpose for heat like before, but that's not his. Carefully advancing, he targeted the core with minimal magic. Persistence paid off as he finally built the thermal block. The blocks heated Liz's room, but they failed outdoors, leaving him unsatisfied. He created a wearable item for travel, ideal in spare shirts. He asked Liz for a shirt to test an enchantment. Liz misunderstood and scolded him, while Miyabi had no clue his request was inappropriate. He collapsed in shame. Borrowing was out, and since it wasn't underwear, things got weird. His gear was all ready for heat. Guard announced gates closing. He entered. He usually got lost, but with a map, he wouldn't repeat that mistake. He runs into Mel again. She offers directions, but he isn't lost. Mel looks crushed, hoping for another reward. He made her a bird figure. Miyabi asked why she was out late. She needed to repair her chipped weapon. Damage was severe, leaving her blade shattered beyond even magical repair. For sword repair, he asked to tag along. She agreed. Weiss's shock at Mel's trashed sword startles Miyabi. Mel always waits until her blade is ruined before getting repairs. Weiss spots Miyabi and notes he's just there to help clean. He asks if they know. Weiss scolds Mel. Repairs will take time. He's swamped with orders. Weiss asked if Miyabi could handle synthesis. Realizing Weiss wanted him for the repair, Miyabi froze. Miyabi couldn't refuse. Failure would ruin Null's high-quality sword materials. Weiss noted such rare repair chances and magic manipulation were crafter strengths, but Miyabi remained hesitant. Weiss relaxed, knowing Mel could afford replacements despite her destructive habits. Relieved, Miyabi confirmed Mel was okay with it and asked what reward he wanted. It was a dragon fang worth a fortune, and Weiss and Nell cheered as he got ready. Seeing the enchantment, he focused. He activated the circuit, then he channeled magic to the damage. Unlike enchantment, controlling the material's magic made this task way harder. Miyabi's anxiety stole his breath, but he'd be fine if he could speak. Weiss offered dragon fangs to motivate him if he succeeded. Weiss' words worked, and Miyabi pushed through the repairs until midnight. Miyabi finished. Weiss examined the sword, then asked to repeat it. Miyabi, utterly drained, scoffed. It was 100 times harder than he'd imagined. Weiss explained crafters don't fix elite gear, leaving Miyabi stunned by the sudden contradiction. Weiss offered 2 dragon fangs as an apology, but Miyabi hesitated, overconfident after breaking one during repair. Weiss then revealed he usually needed 4 fangs for the sword. Mia's speed was insane. Miyabi grabbed the fangs and headed to his inn. He collapsed onto his cot. Liz figured he overworked himself practicing enchantments. He woke up stiff from crashing in the lobby, then they hit the guild. Liz grabs another gathering quest, but Miyabi suggests the Jade Forest. Liz looks nervous. Investigations could hurt their rank, she'd never tried one. Too soon, demons would appear. Miyabi saw her hesitate, worried for him. Liz won the ground sheep fight but feared she couldn't protect him if things went south. She doubted her strength. She knew his harvesting skills paid off. Miyabi reminded her that diverse experience is the key to A rank. No demons or forest exploration needed. They could hide underground if they injure a rose, which puzzled Liz. He joked he was a mole in a past life, convincing her to take the job. Miyabi expected trouble on their first case but followed Liz's lead. At the guild counter, Alina asked if this was Liz's first request. Liz wanted something different. Alina was sure they'd won, but warned them to stay sharp and retreat if danger appeared. Liz asked what's wrong. Alina revealed other Jade Forest adventurers vanished. Miyabi remembered Leonard's warning and stayed alert, but the woods were eerily quiet. They searched for half a day without seeing a single demon, but Liz knew Jade Forest and Worth east of Angela were way too quiet. Vibrant forests teem with demons. This valuable herb source drew many adventurers, but after disappearances, access was restricted. Demons and humans were sworn enemies. Liz asked Miyabi what happens if humans stop coming. He claimed it helps demons, boosting their numbers. Demons die fast, some migrated from other forests. Normally, demon numbers surge, but an investigation began. Jade Forest wolves were spotted in the northern Kelana steppe, signaling a strange shift. The mission: investigate the forest and report back. Liz needed many samples to find issues, so Miyabi collected animal droppings. Miyabi begged for mercy, but Liz reminded him he's backing her A-rank goal. At night, an inn cost them 5 silver coins. Miyabi was spent from investigating. Tree samples showed nothing weird, and they only found small animals. Oddities but no clear leads. He expected a long task, but it'd take even longer. After finishing, they still compile a report. Thinking about it, he didn't know how to report. Samples weren't enough proof, and he'd recorded nothing. Liz gave no instructions, so he dropped his guard. He couldn't blame her. They were both novice investigators. Mistakes happen. Sunset, he gathered paper, a pencil, Liz's map. Demon bones became glue, mixed with wood for paper. He crafted a charcoal wood pencil, then added flower dye for colored ones. Miyabi's past life made paperwork and overtime a breeze. Surprisingly, he didn't care anymore. He never expected to use his past life skills in this new world. He tackled endless tasks while traveling as an adventurer. Morning, he gave Liz yesterday's investigation summary, explaining records ensure accurate reports. Liz worried it took him too long. Miyabi swore he rested well, crashing before midnight, then scanned the summary. Liz assisted him starting that day. Miyabi, assuming Liz was exhausted from scouting, offered to handle tasks alone, but Liz insisted dividing work was more efficient. Liz wanted to learn the summary book. Miyabi was stunned by her drive, but Liz insisted it wasn't about hard work. Adventurers report verbally while the guild handles the writing. Miyabi realized he'd wasted hours on useless paperwork. Liz praised his impressive work, noting how his colorful summary revealed hidden patterns. Flustered by the compliment, Miyabi showed her his handmade underlay to steady paper for notes on the move. These innovations amazed Liz. She'd report demon signs for him to log, letting them compile everything tonight. They had to prove Liz excelled in investigations to the guild. They scoured the forest for 5 days. After 5 days, they found a campfire, wondering who lit it, searching for clues. Miyabi suggested the missing adventurers survived in the forest, but Liz doubted it. A smoldering campfire meant fire danger. They wouldn't leave it. She ordered it extinguished or buried. Something unexpected must have stopped them. Days nearby. Liz watches Miyabi magically sow leaves over branches, creating a camouflaged shelter with a wool cushion. Perfect for long stays, this room overlooks the river. Liz wasn't shocked by his ingenuity, but he wished she'd show surprise while they watched. Miyabi dozed on guard. Ballas snapped him awake. Blackhawk Crank Demon is closing in. She suspected a monster trail, but not there. Miyabi, relieved, masked their scent with magic as Liz noted Black Hawks shouldn't be in that forest. Miyabi asks if they're drawing the demons away. She suspected Black Works and mutants were large, social, and formed settlements, likely nesting deep in the forest. Miyabi find it report to guild. Black Works was swarming with orcs and Liz. Stunned by their rapid growth, Liz realized the massive Black Orc swarm was a major threat. She said when their numbers grew, a smarter, higher species would emerge, needing an AA rank force to defeat. Miyabi dreaded facing such a demon. They headed to the guild, but Liz stopped him with a reminder. Demons breed fast. In the right conditions, they'll overrun everything in days. She warned a strike team needs 3 days, making their discovery urgent. Liz warned Delane might be too late, regretting she endangered Miyabi, but Miyabi knew they could act. He asked Liz for options, and she had the solution. Miyabi's report showed he knew the cave, confident his plan would surprise the Black Orcs. Miyabi quickly mapped the massive underground settlement, leaving a shivering Liz stunned by his speed. Miyabi underestimated the cold. Liz said they'd cope till morning, demanding blankets. Spotting a crafter, she questioned Miyabi staying overnight in this cold. He told her to watch as he built a cozy spot. Miyabi laid the foundation, installed curved beams and columns, and used wood for walls and ceiling. Using Shandon magic, he planted a radiant tree in the cavern's center. He said the tree would glow warmly. For Liz, always cold, he added extra warmth. He finished his cozy underground home, adding a soft double bed and a private lounge. A glowing log lit the room while heat blocks mimicked a fireplace. Safe heat kept the underground warm, featuring a cozy dining area and a basin for easy washing. Miyabi knew his creation would shock Liz, despite her familiarity with his crafts. His reveal stunned her. Liz couldn't believe he built it so fast. Miyabi felt crushed when his elite enchantment magic failed to impress her with the glowing tree. Liz felt her hands and feet warm and ease as he heated the floor without a hot spring. Pure paradise. Miyabi admits rigging the floor with fire, making Liz ecstatic. Joked he shouldn't create a place comfier than a hotel. She forgot the Black Orcs above. On the warm floor, she thought a cushion was enough. Miyabi refused to let them rest. He showed her a plush wool cot. She was amazed, wrapped in wool. Liz said it felt like a warm futon, perfect for the cold, then asked the price. Miyabi brushed it off, telling her to relax. Being C-ranked, she wouldn't force it. Her body would wake naturally. Next morning, Liz slept in as Miyabi expected. He tried waking her, but she begged Dad for another minute, leaving him baffled, with a shy smile. She asked to restart the wake-up, but he refused. She washed her face as the sun rose. Miyabi asked if Liz was ready. Liz confirmed she was awake. They pushed ahead as the night shift Black Hawks neared a frustrating shift change. Miyabi and Liz attacked, stunning the Black Hawks. Liz fires an ice spell, but the Black Hawks strike back. They tumbled into a hole. Who praised her but urged an earlier retreat. Liz's Operation Mole knew a direct assault was impossible against those massive numbers. Without a front line, they just needed to dodge, but Liz charging magic left her exposed. New tunnels let Liz lure enemies with magic, then vanish underground, leaving them clueless. Liz unleashes magic to wipe out the Blackworks. They'd repeat the cycle, thin the ranks, and escape. Miyabi worried about unseen higher species emerging from the cave's many exits, making mapping the cave a top priority. Black Orcs feasted while digging a tunnel for exits. Liz planned it, but Miyabi's presence made everything unpredictable. Miyabi asked if they strike tonight. Liz told him, act at dawn. She used a smell mask, had no mana for a Black Orc, and wished for endless magic. They sized up the Black Orcs. Spotting the fifth, Liz knew a small herd prevented a higher species from spawning. Miyabi blocked. Liz realized he preempted her, dodging the attack. Liz asked Miyabi if she could say something odd. He urged her. She asked if he knew Black Orc meat tastes amazing. Defeat many, gain plenty of meat to sell for profit or keep. This fuels Liz's will to defeat all. Miyabi was shocked. Liz aimed to kill everyone. Liz admitted spamming ice javelins was draining, and she doubted she could take out the last 5. She had Abby help while Blackwork interrogated a target for Liz's location. Liz yelled she was here, killing an orc with only 2 shots left. He picked them off. 2 orcs gave chase, refusing to let her escape. Miyabi Dugahole saves Liz. Liz asks if he's packed his inventory, and he shows her a sword inscribed "God bless my beloved husband," bearing Theodora's mark. Wielded by a Blackwork, Miyabi suspected it was a missing persons. Liz felt bittersweet. Return the sword to its waiting owner. Miyabi agreed, so they finished the survey and headed home. Miyabi blamed bad luck, not himself or Liz. He tried to ignore it but couldn't stop wondering about the sword's owner. Impressed by Liz's focus, he asked her secret. Returning to the guild finally felt like home for Liz, and they immediately greeted Aliner. Relieved, but they went over schedule. Liz said they needed caution to learn. Aliner, seeing them safe, asked for the report. Miyabi reported Black Orcs by the forest lake. They're loaded with Gila wolf bones. He handed Aliner their report notes. Surprised, she appreciated the gesture and offered a guild version before reviewing theirs. Guild shocked Miyabi made it alone. Miyabi explained he handled plant and soil data, but relied on Liz for demon population estimates. Liz doubted her help, but they swore it worked. Elena praised their detailed docs, a month's guild work done in 10 days. A guild member called their Black Orch report remarkably fast, and Miyabi and Liz said they gave their all. Elena scanned the report. 11 Blackworks trigger A-rank alarms. B-rank isn't enough, Miyabi counters. He claims he's already crushed them all. Guild staff doubted them, some thinking they confused demons for black orcs, others accusing them of lying. Elena asked Liz for demon knowledge, specifically the rank to defeat a black orc. Liz answered C rank. Elena confirmed Liz could handle one, but warned that 11 black orcs were a different beast. Way too much for a C rank duo. Guild staff questioned their mistake. Believing Miyabi and Liz exaggerated for credit, others say their impatience caused a blunder. Elena called Miyabi. Miyabi quickly turned, "Yes, sir." She ordered him to bring the meat and summon the Mathling team. Meat prints are back. The team wondered what meat it was this time. Elena confirmed the Blackwork meat and asked for proof of the kill. The meat prince just scored them a massive bonus. Miyabi overheard crowd whispers. He was the legendary meat prince with limitless meat, and they wondered if he'd sell any. After the sheep incident, the butcher kid calls him Meat Prince. Rumors spread of a rivalry with Love Tower's Cupid. Disheartened, Miyabi begged for a better nickname. Liz tried to cheer him up. Supporters rarely get unique titles, so she teased him as Meat Prince. Crying, Miyabi screamed that even more was 100 times better. The chief confirmed every pile of meat came from black orcs. 5 if I cut more than 5, is it okay? Rule says cut 25 unnecessary words per sentence. Usually this means at least. Godlike dismantling and an otherworld inventory. Miyabi's reports were meticulous, like the king's office. She wondered who asterisk was Miyabi. Elena saw other staff talking about it too, and though she kept the ground sheep incident quiet, she couldn't conceal this one. Guildmaster has another troublesome case and needs to see them both. Elena said the higher-ups wanted to discuss their report. Miyabi and Liz tensed. They worried they'd messed up. Liz hyped barbecue, asking Miyabi what beats premium meat after work. He just wanted payment. He ate well, but his room was bare. Liz was shocked by his frugality, wondering where the money went and urging him to stop hoarding and enjoy life. Guildmaster Zion summoned Miyabi and Liz. He introduced himself, then addressed C-rank adventurer Liz. Reporting the Jade Forest case, Zion asked if they had outside help. Miyabi snapped at the cheating accusation as Liz told Zion they were alone. Miyabi stressed Elena would never do it. Elena stayed silent. Miyabi saw the guild was stunned by their work. Even Elena was shocked. The master only knew them from documents, so he suspected a C and F rank performing so well. Zion stressed guild surveys were crucial, needing experts to assess monster cooperation and security. Miyabi knew Zion was testing their honesty. Zion vowed to never ask for help again and demanded they swear their report was true. Liz unwrapped the sword, explaining it was the detail missing from the report found in Blackwork. Its design, she swore, was everything. Guildmaster eyed the blade. He confirmed the inscription matched a missing adventurer, told Elena to contact their next of kin, and handed back the sword. Elena questioned his certainty. Zion cited the report, their guilt, and Elena's testimony. He initially trusted them, given Liz's competence. Elena warned he's usually more cautious than they saw Liz's insane 98.2% success rate. Miyabi wondered why they were analyzing Liz's mission stats. Zion explains Liz rose from the bottom with a perfect success rate. He showed a book praising their exceptional monster parts, then wanted Liz to keep her skills with them, not another guild, knowing only someone physically present could create such a detailed report. Zion sensed no lies, sticking to the rule, innocent until proven guilty. He flipped to 2 pages full of client thank yous. He trusted Liz because she'd earned her reputation as an adventurer. He called taking down 11 solo impossible, and even Liz doubted she could pull it off. He suggested Miyabi for the role, so Zion asked if she'd be the vanguard. Liz said the battle ended before she struck. Miyabi claimed Liz did all the fighting, so Zion joked they should get their story straight. Liz insisted Miyabi crushed 2 works, but he claimed he just offered support. Zion joked they were a comedy duo. Liz silenced Miyabi, saying his view was skewed. She called him a walking, talking storage unit. Zion saw Miyabi's Black Hawk meet, but she watched him dig a huge hole, store all dirt in 6 seconds, calling it mere support. She figured he stored enough timber for a whole forest, his capacity beating. Zion asked for her story again, but Liz confirmed he heard right, she'd already ditched logic. then asked Alina if Miyabi's storage was only for me, adding those were just rumors. Miyabi cut in, revealing his storage holds way more than meat. He'd sell extra materials, asking Alina to lead them to the warehouse. Liz bowed, thanking Zion for his trust. Zion told her to keep up the great work, but catching him staring, she asked if something was wrong. He claimed just nostalgia, but Zion noted her well-inherited equipment was her father's. He saw the hardworking man raised a daughter just as driven. Miyabi is stunned by the massive warehouse, but Alina says it's nothing compared to the production guild. She said adventuring's main pay came from mission rewards, which even she saw as temporary bonuses, not a stable career, so Miyabi asked if she was an adventurer. She took this job after her party split 3 years ago. Rusty from adventuring, Alina struggled to dismantle parts without injury, asking Miyabi for his technique. Surprised, he simplified his complex material skill, claiming he was just skilled with his hands. She pressed if it was just manual dexterity. He changed the subject, asking about Liz Sin. He requested his survey mission rewards be donated to the sword owner's family. Alina split the 100 gold reward, and though she double-checked, Miyabi insisted he had enough for materials. She saw his gesture as kind but naive, wondering if he'd forego pay for every mission with a casualty. Miyabi couldn't voice his feelings. Unsure of the future but determined, he'd follow his instincts and play by his own rules with a clear conscience. He knew it was selfish, but he could afford it and wasn't losing half his pay forever. Alina mentioned a fund for fallen adventurers' families, offering to arrange the donation for him. She warned him the reward pays for the risk, so don't undervalue it. Then, Alina left. 2 days later, she told Liz and Miyabi they crushed the mission, earning a massive reward. Miyabi computed their 910 gold coin reward in yen. Alina offered to store the gold in the guild. Miyabi gave it to the grieving family, but felt it wasn't enough. More than money, Miyabi unexpectedly earned D rank. Surprised him and Liz, Miyabi was stunned. He skipped E rank entirely. Alina notes this is rare for supports, but his massive impact earned the guild's full backing. He questioned the guildmaster's intent. Alina warned an F rank's large reward could invite problems if known. They now outturned B rank adventurers, including Alina herself. Miyabi thanked her. Alina smiled, saying the guild preferred his support role. They'd gain much from his efforts. After thanking the guild master, Alina stopped to ask Liz one last thing. Echoing Liz, she asked if she wanted this donation anonymous too. Flustered, Liz stopped her, pointing to the report's instructions. Alina smiled, apologized. Miyabi, confused, then understood Alina's warning, don't sacrifice half his salary often. Miyabi stared at Liz, completely awestruck by her actions. He blushed, chiding him. Their mission ended. Meeting the Black Hawks and the guildmaster for the first time, Liz was so anxious her heart nearly stopped. Miyabi agreed, time for something new. Confused, Liz asked about the gathering. He wanted that but suggested a victory party first. He made a stunning black meat Chinese dish. Liz puzzled if Chinese cuisine was special or just ordinary. Miyabi dodged her questions, asking which meat she wanted. She tried to help, but Miyabi insisted on grilling alone. Liz stayed confused, fearing the meal would end too fast. He spotted some bread and took a bite. She loved the buns' tasty filling. Miyabi explained they were savory buns, perfect for chilly weather, with a fork-tender stewed filling. The filling and smooth dough made a perfect bite, and Liz was hooked on the sweet, juicy flavor. After the bun, Miyabi captivated her, leaving her eager for more as he offered another dish, sparking her curiosity. She saw the table rotate. Miyabi insisted, no Chinese food without it. Liz didn't understand, but it worked. Miyabi warned her not to reset the spinning table, then Null suddenly appeared and shocked them. Munching meat buns, she claims she followed the scent. Miyabi's shocked Liz knows her, but Liz is stunned Miyabi knows Mel, a famous B rank adventurer. After recounting their encounter, Nell noted Miyabi often got lost, remembering the blacksmith wanted to discuss something. Miyabi asked what it was about, but Liz gasped he knew Master Weiss, asking if he knew Weiss. Miyabi calls Weiss a kind blacksmith and asks if he's famous. Liz and Nell trade looks and lead him there. Seeing them, White asked Liz why she was with Miyabi. She said they were at a party. Weiss, surprised, asked to borrow Miyabi. Miyabi, feeling sidelined, joined their talk. He grilled Liz on her connection to Mr. Wise. Liz revealed he was Black Iron Weiss, royalty's master craftsman. Weiss, her adoptive father, thanked a stunned Miyabi for protecting Liz. Before Miyabi could ask about her real dad, Weiss revealed his true motive. Lord Angel Duke Baldini is renovating his mansion. He asked if Miyabi wanted the mission. Liz and Miyabi gasped. Miyabi confused why chosen. She explained he selects personnel free to pick anyone. Miyabi sensed danger, but Liz snapped that the Duke's job builds power and he'd report to a project manager. Had to go all out to impress. No choice, Miyabi reluctantly accepted the task. Noble mansions cover the western slopes of Angela. Duke Baldini's grand estate dominated the area's heart. Miyabi, Weiss, and Liz arrive, but Weiss leaves, announcing work starts in 2 days. Miyabi's relieved he packed extra clothes for this surprise gig. He couldn't miss the rare chance to explore it. With the group, he spotted a wilting flower. A man identified it as a CFEROS, a cult known for resilience and adaptability. 16 words cut, approached and, of our, it's. As the man explained the tropical rose's struggle, Miyabi questioned his identity and why he was so close. Weiss returns, warns meeting everyone is risky, and reveals the man. It was Duke Trentbaldini. Before leaving, Liz made Miyabi study the Duke to avoid embarrassment, then quizzed him on Angela's lord, the territory's governor. Miyabi, Belfini House is one of 5 great ducal houses controlling Fordy's northern territory. Its head, Duke Trentbaldini, is known for his enthusiasm and oddity. Liz warned him, leading a noble house requires graduating top of Angela's Royal Academy of Magic. He grew the 3 major guilds and could restrict noble territories. In Angela, he boosted free trade, growing exports. With the right rank and enough cash, any job or item was yours. Miyabi finally saw why Liz fell in love with adventuring here. He saw the Duke's subjects were fiercely loyal. Liz was right about his eccentricity. Now Miyabi's with Weiss' chosen team nervous. Warned the Lord was peculiar, he could handle him chatting with strangers. More concerning were the grim workmen. Duke Trentbaldini apologized for the wait and introduced himself. He thanked Weiss for accepting. He locked eyes with Miyabi. She was confused, but the Duke explained the interior hadn't been touched in 30 years. It was rotting and the Prattlinwood made it worse. They planned a simple refresh, but the modern world demanded more. He ordered high-tech, innovative designs. He told them to trust their path and chase their goals with their own skills. The speech fired Miyabi up, flushing his cheeks as he prepared to join the craftsmen. A hammer rocketed toward his head in storage. A hostile man yelled at Miyabi, warning him not to impress the boss, claiming he was the chosen successor. Meet Iron Skin Sid. Miyabi found the nickname impressive, but another man revealed Sid picked it himself. He's Iron Skin Sid's brother. Miyabi apologized for intruding, not disrupting their work. The brother assured him it was fine. Weiss had a reason. Weiss arrives and snaps at them for wasting time. This job is for a friend and his reputation is on the line. He's got the mansion plans ready to review. He ordered them to get to work. Miyabi, eager to contribute, asked his role. Weiss handed him paper and pen. Miyabi was confused by the pen and paper until Weiss named him the project lead. Miyabi panicked. No blueprint from Weiss meant he couldn't invent one. Weiss, unfazed, admitted he tried to please the Duke but drew a blank. Construction must start today, he added. Miyabi scoffed. Weiss clearly planned this. Weiss introduced a boy, tasking him and Miyabi with the main bathroom. The boy nervously shouted, startling Miyabi. Weiss leaves, leaving Miyabi to wonder why. Miyabi found the boy decent, marveling at his small frame curled so tightly, taking little space. The bathroom was his biggest hurdle. He couldn't fake its complex design. He saw his chance. The structure just needed a refresh, keeping most intact with focus on interior aesthetics. In his favorite spot with 0 budget limits, his creativity ran wild. As he sketched, the boys looked ready to talk, so Miyabi asked what he needed. He forgot to introduce himself. Karen was so nervous, Miyabi kept calling him Karen. Miyabi demands a design first and orders Karen to start demolition, but the boy hates the name. Miyabi was confused when the Duke claimed their designs matched elven styles and ancient architecture. He dismissed them as ordinary, shocking Miyabi. Retreating to the bathroom, he rethought. His extravagant designs were commonplace to the Duke because fantasy architecture in this world was just standard. He remembered Dream World's visuals were crafted by the industry's top designers. Miyabi brainstormed ideas for this world mirroring Dreamworld, while Karen's demolition stalled. Miyabi saw Karen struggling with heavy materials and offered his inventory, but her strange reaction made him double-check if she had one. It packed 2 weeks of fresh food and lunchboxes. Liz said crafters were undervalued, so Miyabi grabbed Karen's hammer to help. One strike shattered the floor. Karen called him master. Miyabi hated the title, but Karen decided to be his apprentice. He begged Miyabi for the technique, but it only unlocks through leveling and crafting. Miyabi was exhausted, but Karen's hype kept him going. Remembering his own struggles, Miyabi doubted it was talent. He could unlock Kuren's potential. By morning, the demolition finished. Kuren was stunned by the speed, and Miyabi remembered a question. He asks Kuren about the pit, but the Duke interrupts, revealing it's a boiling water reservoir. Miyabi shocked again, but the Duke, unfazed, explained boiled water went to the bath by bucket. Miyabi was surprised. No running water made tasks laborious. The Duke had a fire mage servant heating water perfectly. Age forced him out. No one wanted the unglamorous job. The Duke asked for progress, so Miyabi revealed his newly enhanced design. The Duke waited patiently like a commoner. Inspired by a rival studio's game, Miyabi knew this design would stand out. The Duke noticed the architecture matched Elvish Mercenary and Dynasty styles. At day's end, WICE reported progress. The bath went smoothly. He said pleasing the Duke easily ruins the challenge's fun. Duke approved the bat's final designs, sensing WICE's curiosity. The Duke never abandoned a project with true potential. He teased that Weiss's originality made him a stubborn old man, but the master admitted he still had to deliver the client's vision. He expected big things from his new recruits. Liz hits the park to find Alina reading and apologizing for being late. Alina brushed it off, praising Liz's outfit. Liz said it had been ages since their last date. She dressed up, fearing her adventurer look would embarrass Alina. Outfit prep took time, simpler with Miyabi. Ellen questioned using someone's inventory as a wardrobe, making Liz panic she'd been rude. Alina noticed Miyabi hadn't been at the guild lately. Liz says he's helping renovate the Lord's mansion. The news stunned Alina. Miyabi was ready to quit the project. After 3 days of the Duke rejecting every design, the bathroom renovation completely stalled. He hit the Duke's library to study local architecture. With Kuren gone, the Duke's demand for something new rattled him again. Too vague, the Duke's only rule: it can't look like a bathroom. That wasn't how it worked. This felt like his past life, where his boss demanded results without moving deadlines. His friends insisted he listen and understand the client's perspective. Miyabi, lost in thought, genuinely got lost. All the luxurious surroundings looked identical. Dazed, he spotted a path outside and rushed to find his bearings. A maid appeared, sternly stating the site wasn't there. Relieved, Miyabi admitted he was lost. The maid was unwelcoming, telling him only household members could enter. He asks for the bath and she offers to lead him next door. Miyabi offered to go alone to save her time, but she insisted on walking him. Miyabi brought up his construction job, but was met with dead silence. The talk died, trapping him with an awkward stranger. Grasping for small talk, he couldn't bear the silence, just wanting the bathroom. He spotted Nell playing with puppies. Striking woman playing with Mel asked his identity. Mel introduces Miyabi as a lost cause, while he flexes his new D-rank status. Her elegant look, refined voice fueled doubt. Miyabi realized Chiffon Baldini was the Duke's daughter. He asked their plan, joking about attacking Mr. Bear. Chiffon says they often pretend this. In the chaos, her hand slipped, dropping Mr. Bear into the dirt. Alicia wished she'd washed him herself, but Chiffon snapped she should clean her own mess. Nell teases Miyabi for being lost again. Miyabi jokes about wandering into the mansion, then admits he's actually there to help with renovations. He confessed he had to design the primary bath, which failed. Chiffon recognized him. She noted his skill designing it so small, knowing her father's tastes were tough to meet. Her busy father lived for rare moments in Miyabi's new bath. She won't help directly, this is their responsibility, not hers. Ellen Chiffon washed bears as Miyabi pondered her words. Ideas swirled, igniting inspiration. He stood, demanding Alicia take him to Duke Baldini now. He told the Duke his idea. He finally saw the Duke's pleased expression. Kuren rushed to the bathroom, stunned the design was approved. She joyfully confirmed with Miyabi, apologizing for the wait so construction could finally begin. Kuren returns to Olive Miyabi. Duke praised his incredible design, eager to contribute. Kuren asked about mastering Miyabi's technique. He'll become a master craftsman like Miyabi. Sick of being useless, he begged Miyabi for training. Master Weiss kindly hired him, but his magic was weak compared to the workshop's effective mages. He hated watching them work while he did nothing. Kuren's eyes were dead serious. Seeing his first fellow craftsman, Miyabi wondered if he'd be in her shoes if he arrived with nothing. Determined to help, he tried despite uncertainty. This thrilled Kuren. Miyabi asked what Kuren could build, and he confidently claimed he mostly forged hammers. Harvesting wood, shaping parts, assembling, Miyabi asked why he didn't use crafting skills. Using them yields poor results and inaccurate forms. Fixing shapes wasted all time saved. Miyabi's skills were unique, but Kuren's inventory and magic meant a solution was likely. Solution: level up. The bathroom renovation demanded those skills a clear path. Miyabi tasked Karen to craft 5,000 small blocks. Manual crafting was impossible at that scale, so Karen ground his handicraft skill to level up. He stressed this vital work for the bath's design, demanding Karen's best. Nervous, Karen agreed and hit the corner to begin. Miyabi figured Weiss paired them as fellow crafters for mutual support. Karen prepped blocks for Miyabi's auto-temp bathtub. Components were simple, stone blocks with water or fire magic. Water blocks provided the flow while fire blocks added heat. He lined the tub with both for a steady supply, ending his endless bucket runs. Ruining wells, working he assessed building materials. Weiss rushed in, eager to see the approved design. Before sharing, Miyabi asked him to be kind to Karen, who suffered his demands. Weiss chuckled, impressed by the auto-hot water, as Miyabi looked uncharacteristically proud. Separating enhancements simplified the process, maximized results, he explained, beaming with pride. Weiss suddenly demands their return as Karen rushed in problem. The bath overflowed. Alicia and maids cleaned, then left. Miyabi apologized for the mess. Weiss explained infinite water with no drainage was the issue. Miyabi felt scolded. Karen found it strange. Bats use tons of hot water, so how did they drain it before? Weiss clarified the mansion's old infrastructure magically levitated water out, so no drainage existed. Miyabi realized he'd build plumbing from scratch. He explained the concept since they'd never heard the term. Weiss exposed two flaws in Miyabi's plan. The first bathtub design failed. Miyabi blamed the pattern, but the real problem was the cube alignment. Miyabi was proud of his water, but now he's challenged to ditch his shoes and test it himself. Miyabi scalded his foot testing the bath. Magic input scales enchantment power. Boiling water with just enchantments was impressive. Blocks intense heat burned skin. Next was the heavy stone design. The Duke's mansion sat on triple-layered blocks that blocked drainage, but Miyabi saw no problem. Karen boasted his master's special move would easily handle it. Miyabi showed the move, leaving Wise even more confused about his true identity. Miyabi revealed an idea from his digging. Grim and wise, he saw it coming. Miyabi was used to it. He proposed fixed block heat meant installing a separate water tank. He explained its mechanics. Wise asked why the water drained away. Miyabi couldn't stop the constant flow. It felt wasteful, a luxury commoners could never afford. He recalled his early days at an inn, taking cold bucket baths. He warned that dumping hot water would wipe out the local fish. Karen suggests chilling the water before the river, like blowing on hot soup. Betrayal cooked up solutions. That evening, Alina updated Zion. Guildmaster heard an intriguing rumor sheet. She reported an adventurer for working with the production guild without a formal request. At the Duke's mansion, two workers saw Miyabi and Karen working late, curious why. Miyabi explained he crafted prototype reliefs for tomorrow's construction. They urged him to rest, warning late nights harm health. Miyabi insisted he was fine, almost done. Struggled carving peels, they always looked wrong. Workers checked out his prototype. An excited Astaba offered his expertise, but Sid confidently stepped in to handle it. His stunning work amazed all. Miyabi marveled at the vibrant, delicate petals. He never knew blacksmiths had that power. Workers laughed at his shock. Sid's brother reveals Sid's a sculptor, not a blacksmith. Miyabi was shocked, thinking everyone worked in a smithy. Sid's brother explained their workshop was versatile, not just for forging. He recruits master craftsmen, including a sculptor turned blacksmith. Class titles meant nothing. Craftsmen created freely, building loyalty among themselves and the wise. Miyabi discovered the prestigious project of renovating a lord's mansion. With many workers, determined craftsmen finally seized their rare chance. To uphold the Black Iron name, they delivered quality work. Everyone relied on them. Karen's scream startled Miyabi, but he instantly blocked. Miyabi, excitement nearing Karen's, watches him repeat the feat. Miyabi, overjoyed by Karen's progress, noted his level up. Karen thrilled he could now mass-produce blocks. Let's check this version. S1, overjoyed at Karen's progress. Miyabi. Miyabi demanded wind magic for all, stunning everyone, Kirin included. Everyone was stunned. Enchanting is tough, but casting hundreds daily is elite magic. Next day, Miyabi examined SID's prototype. They asked him for sculpting tips. Sid was shocked Miyabi intruded for this, seeing no reason to help since her draft sufficed. Miyabi refused to settle for good enough, demanding perfection. Sid looked moved at first. Someone then mocked Miyabi, calling him a sore loser who couldn't match a true sculptor, but Miyabi countered there's nothing wrong with striving to succeed. He argued ambition drives the world. Sid agreed to teach him sculpting after work. Miyabi, shocked, expected refusal, but Sid shrugged it off. He loved crushing Miyabi's confidence. After work, Sid taught him sculpting basics while the Duke watched from his room. Karen, Miyabi and their team worked tirelessly, earning high praise. After work, Sid and his brother chatted with the other workers. Only SID's final task remains to finish the project. Sid found it odd. The Duke arrived to inspect the site, leaving only Miyabi's bathroom unchecked. Duke and Wise reached Bathard Mentorance. The Duke asked if he was ready, and Miyabi confidently said he could show his creation anytime. First, the dressing room. During inspection, Kirin whispered his anxiety to Miyabi, who admitted his usual nerves for client evaluations. Duke approved the room, but Miyabi stayed anxious, knowing even great work can fail high expectations. They enter the next area, the Duke's massive, newly renovated bath. Before the inspection, Miyabi highlighted a magnificent relaxation and healing center. An open garden offered bathers a calm, soothing environment. Karen's blocks generated air, keeping water flowing between the bathing area and a modern steam sauna for health. Swapping basic statues for 4 unique hot springs, the greenhouse garden is now a winter paradise. Duke acknowledged your rough start, yet the project succeeded. He teased a new feature he'd never seen. Miyabi flagged roofers. He draped a black sheet over the glass roof. Formal inspection, every detail perfect. He knew the blueprints, but the natural light looked stunning. Miyabi found a stunning old bath statue, too beautiful to discard, so he incorporated it into the new design. Elegant decor heals body and mind, always stylish. Duke's wish sparked a new era. Dukes thanked Miyabi, even though he'd only taken the job on a whim. He met a fellow crafter, befriended a stoic loner, and found kind souls to help him survive. Setbacks meant nothing, the joy was his reward. The Duke began the inspection. Miyabi confirmed plumbing met specs, inviting testing. The Duke stepped into the warm bath, making Miyabi wonder if he was even needed. At dinner, Miyabi was struck by the Duke's contrasting public and private selves, questioning if they belonged at the aristocratic reception. Worried commoners would cause trouble, Wist insisted they were invited and to ignore formalities. He surprised Miyabi never made bathtubs, his hometown spa inspired him. His designs flopped, making him wonder if the Duke noticed something off. He missed Duke's boast vast knowledge in art mansions. He craved more spectacle. Chiffin's remark about her father's lack of self-care showed he saw a serene retreat. Waterfall sounds, subtle design, noble dignity, and accents unify it. Traditional Japanese style was simpler, but didn't reflect his unique approach. Sid would call him a sore loser, but Weiss glad he took the job. Sid and his brother called Miyabi, praising her cooking. Chiffon enters the bathroom and greets the Duke. She kicked the last guests out, saving the Duke from the Lord Chamberlain's endless chatter. Chiffon noted the bathroom's surprising warmth despite winter nearing and the late hour. The Duke pumps bathwater under the floor for heat, letting tropical plants grow inside. He planted his struggling CDR roses thrived, delighting Chiffon. Tease imagined roses blooming like her father's curls, wondering if royal capital flowers could grow here. She asked about his garden plans, but he kept the secret even from her. Chiffon uncovered the blueprint, pointed to a path to the city. Next morning, Liz rushed me. Liz fumed at Miyabi's slow pace. Exhausted from yesterday, he saw no rush, but Liz insisted they couldn't be late. Liz pointed ahead to a crowd already gathering. The hot water pool opened, and crowds flocked to soak their feet. Miyabi remembered the enchanted masonry pumped hot water nonstop. Excess heat flowed through greenhouses before draining. He'd even proposed a public pool. Liz was hyped, but Miyabi forgot in the chaos. They soak in warm water and chat. Liz told Miyabi that Aliner wants to see him the moment he returns. Liz wasn't sure what Aliner wanted, but Aliner set a time and date in the guild master's room. Liz, Zion, and Aliner sat in tense silence. I'll handle it and let them be. Dean exposed the guild's secret deal, forcing Liz and Miyabi to apologize. Miyabi admitted he ignored the risks, while a guilty Liz confessed she pushed him blindly. Zion blamed himself for the oversight, asking for a heads-up next time. Master Weiss's request cleared them. Dealing with him prepared Zion for Miyabi bypassing permissions. He warned them they're drawing too much attention. Zion requested both of them for the job, so they're meeting the client to confirm the details. The client was Duke Balding. Stunned whispers spread. Miyabi questioned the Duke's casual appearance. The answer was clear. Liz never expected her advice to impress the Duck so much. Their gossip was obvious, so Zion warned them to hush around the Duke. Composed, Liz introduced herself, but the Duke dismissed formalities, urging them to relax. He praised Miyabi's craft, surprised to learn Wise called him an adventurer, and Miyabi's party had another member, piquing his interest. Liz downplayed her skills next to Miyabi, but the Duke, seeing her accomplishments, told her to drop the modesty, despite her experience not typically qualifying her for a noble's request. His daughter's 150-day journey to the capital needed protection. Miyabi saw Liz's big break and Liz stepped up, but long escorts need a full squad, mages, 2 vanguards, and a rearguard. Without more members, they can't take. Duke praised her thoroughness, admitting he'd already found more members. Rank Party Red Cliff and beer anchor Nell join the squad. The Duke tasks Miyabi and Liz to work with these pros, proving their value instantly. Their new mission: escort dupe Chippen's daughter. He heads to the capital's magic academy. Other escorts were so capable, Miyabi and Liz felt useless. The Duke gave them a directive to prove their worth. Leaving the manor, Miyabi noticed Lizzie's cold, distant silence. He reminded her she could decline the mission if she doubted. Liz accepted. Opportunities were rare. But she hesitated. Before they could talk, they spotted a leaner. The guild master sent them to her to guide them through the process. Walking, she congratulated them on the Duke's request, noting their unusual careers. She claimed Miyabi's uniqueness far surpassed her own, but Miyabi doubted if a noble's request was truly special. The leaner explained only B rank or higher adventurers, proven and trusted, receive such requests. This is unheard of. Accepting it puts them leagues above the rest. Liz suspected it was a test of trust. Leaner questioned the Duke's words, but Liz confirmed he said it. Prove your worth, he commanded. If he can't prove his worth, he's trash. She realized he omitted the departure date, assuming it was intentional. True adventurers catch every detail, but Miyabi thinks Liz is overthinking and the Duke isn't evil. His innocent words charmed the women. Nobles defied common logic. Miyabi understood their different upbringings. He wondered how nobles saw their status, but knew he'd regret asking. Walking, they met the other escort adventurers. Liz spots them, signals Miyabi to freeze and hide behind him. The adventure group swept past. Miyabi saw Liz drenched in sweat and asked if she was okay. Hearing Liz's name, one girl froze and turned, her face shifting as she spotted her. She snatched Liz into a hug, babying her playfully. The group cheered to see her, leaving Miyabi absolutely stunned. Liz revealed Red Cliff were old friends. She introduced her crew: Laura the healer, Tyson the tank, and Dart, the long-eared swashbuckler. Miyabi's guest Laura, an elf, oddly spoke Kansai dialect. Laura's got that standard elven accent. Dart questioned Miyabi, then introduced himself as Liz's support. Their reaction surprised him. Laura gasped, "Only a boy and girl," Eleanor confirmed it. Laura struggled, knowing the girl she raised was adventuring with a boy. Tyson declared he'd reluctantly support them if Liz was serious. Dart asked if Miyabi would protect Liz with his life. Miyabi questioned if they understood support. They ignored him. Dart intensely repeated his question, forcing Miyabi to affirm. Could he just say yes? He wondered why they'd protect Liz when she's clearly stronger. He called her a strong, capable adventurer. He claimed his job was keeping her comfortable on their adventures. Dart's solid answer was misinterpreted. He thought Miyabi wanted Liz to be the happiest. Dart accepted the challenge, demanding Miyabi prove his resolve and support the team. They'd judge his worth on the road, forcing him to earn his place if he truly valued their bond. Miyabi baffled by Dart's conclusion, but had to agree. After handling Liz's friends, they met Weiss to recap the encounter. Liz fumed as they showed up. Miyabi asked if things were always this intense. Liz explained the Red Cliff members were seasoned, famous adventurers, making her feel like an outsider. Her real father served Red Cliff. As a kid, the teen entertained her between missions, just spoiling a sweet child. 8 years ago, her father died on a mission. Miyabi remembered Liz called Weiss her adoptive father, finally understanding. Liz explained that after her father died, her team grew overprotective, challenging her attempts to keep distance. She apologized for confusing Miyabi. Her staff was made only for her father, but Weiss tells her to lighten up, annoyed she only visits home to fix her gear. They stayed friendly, but Miyabi sensed Weiss and Liz's father shared a past. He noted Liz and Weiss's cautious distance. Weiss asked if they skipped the mission because of Red Cliff. Liza insisted they go, calling it a huge chance despite her worries. After trading barbs, Weiss joked about Miyabi's response. Disaster potential 89 out of 10. Miyabi feared things would explode unless they cleared the misunderstanding fast. Red Cliff clearly ignored his warning. He was strictly support. Liz realized they were trapped because they listened to him. Miyabi wondered if Red Cliff saw them dating. Liz confirmed it, telling him to fix it. He paused. Miyabi flashed his dumb idea face, but Liz shut him down, calling it total insanity. He pushed a better plan that ignored the misunderstanding. He let Red Cliff stay fooled. At the guild, Eleanor ignored the Red Cliff hype her colleagues gushed over. 8 years ago, Red Cliff saved the capital from a monster stampede, earning global fame as legendary adventurers. Leaving her baffled by their cute act, trying to pry Liz's info. Liz knocked and was hyped to see her idol Aliner, asking why she'd stopped by. Welcomed with tea, Aliner apologized. Miyabi said it was fine but braced for a scolding. Expecting trouble, they braced to apologize. Aliner stopped them, no scolding. She needed urgent confirmation on a mission update. Aliner dropped the news and Liz's scream shook the city. She was the new mission leader. An hour ago, Red Cliff approached Aliner with a request. She demanded to know their goal. Guard demanded Liz lead. Stunned, Aliner asked if everyone agreed. Everyone backed Liz to lead Chiffon's escort mission. Aliner observed the highest rank usually leads. Dark countered it's just a guideline, not a rule. They called it a surprise, but Aliner realized Liz was totally clueless. Liz panicked, she couldn't lead top adventurers. Aliner had permission, but Liz could still refuse. Liz was stunned. Duke Baldini approved this. Miyabi saw Liz's distress and comforted her. The role meant more trust and a chance to give the Duke exactly what he wanted. It failed. Liz feared the gossip of an A-rank party like Red Cliff following a C-rank nobody. Everyone accepted it casually, but the public eye terrified her. Unexpected problems drained her. Duke Baldini meets Alicia, who asks what she needs to verify. Updates made her question his motives for untested hires. Baldini said Red Cliff requested it so enthusiastically, he couldn't deny them. Alicia questioned their authority, daring to ask if whims trumped her daughter's safety. Baldini's stern glare silenced her as she realized her mistake. Baldini smiled, acknowledging how it looked, and thanked her for always worrying about Chiffon. He warned her to stop questioning him and focus on her duties once ready. Everyone gathered at the city gate. Thrilled, Miyabi asked Liz if her backpack was all her luggage. She confirmed. She hands it over, telling him she's counting on his support. Red Cliff arrived with massive luggage, challenging Miyabi. Liz reprimanded them, especially Dart, for his weird speech at his age. Dart reminded her Miyabi must demonstrate comfort. He challenged Miyabi, "You're not support if you can't handle luggage." Miyabi laughed at Dart's guts, daring to challenge him despite his reputation. Miyabi marches straight for Dart's luggage. He stashed it in his inventory, then easily grabbed Laura and Tyson's bags. They whispered, stunned by his massive inventory. The rumors were an understatement. Liz called them over. Slamming their excessive gear, unfit for pros. Miyabi's inventory easily held the weight that would have crushed a normal carriage. She made them reflect. They complied. She reminded them they chose her to lead, so they better show some respect. Miyabi briefed Liz on the clients. Duke Baldini, Chiffon, Alicia, and Guildmaster gather. Liz knelt before the Duke, vowing to protect them on their 2-week journey to the capital. Trusting her, he introduced his daughter Chiffon and her maid Alicia. The nervous Guildmaster gave Liz an A-rank escort mission to build her leadership, eagerly awaiting her success. Ready to leave, Miyabi asks for Mel, but Liz says she's napping after her night shift as the Duke tells Chiffon to write home. Esquareth mission began. Lunchtime, Miyabi found a good spot. Red Cliff nodded. Lord announced the second trial, cooking. Miyabi faced massive pressure in this support role. His setup shocked everyone. Liz saw it wasn't his usual. Miyabi explained his standard ones were too small for the crowd. Red Cliff demanded answers, but he made them wait while he prepped lunch. Miyabi grinned, his clever plan started strong. Guilty for dragging Chiffon and Alicia into their mess, he vowed to make it right and offered them seats. Alicia realizes she's sitting right next to Chiffon. Stood, but Chiffon insisted Miyabi take over. Dart smelled a sweet scent, investigating. Lunch was stewed veggies and oxtail. He wondered how Miyabi cooked it so fast, but Miyabi revealed it was pre-packed in his inventory. Dark warned the food scent would lure monsters, but one taste silenced everyone. He focused on eating until Mel asked for seconds. After lunch, Liz checked her map, seeing the journey was surprisingly smooth, ahead of schedule. Dart teased Miyabi that there's no time to rest, but Miyabi snapped back he was still full of energy. He said a good camp was essential at dusk. After luggage and food, this predictable trial made Miyabi ask Liz to shine. Dart demanded to see the tent, knowing their expectations. Miyabi pulled out an entire house. He opened the door and led them inside. They gaped at a house campsite. They demanded answers, but Miyabi mistook it for the horses. Dark clarified they wanted details on everything, as if ordinary. Miyabi started paving the forgotten path, leaving Dart stunned he'd focus on dirt during a historic event. A house appeared from nowhere, baffling him, and Miyabi's nonchalance annoyed him. He begged Liz to step in, but she was hooked on Miyabi's talk about tower dibs. Miyabi's strategy worked. He lured Red Cliffs into accepting his moves, hoping they'd quit questioning. He dubbed his "if it makes no sense" surrender tactic. Liz adapted way faster than before. Red cliffs won't yield yet. Dark called the shack uncomfortable, but Liz argued it beat the wind and rain. He found adventuring's worst were cold and hunger. Dark tells Claire he won't trust Miyabi with Liz in a drafty house. Inside was cozy and warm. How stunned them, Miyabi eyed Red Cliff. Heat overwhelmed them, but they decided to recover and prep dinner. Hot fresh from her bath, a puzzled Alicia watched Chiffin. He was stunned to bathe mid-journey. She asked about their room. Alicia corrected, their cottage. Chiffon expected the main house. Miyabi suggested a private sleepover for two to finally relax. Alicia apologized, feeling guilty for neglecting her. Chiffon urged Alicia to eat, exhausted from driving all day. Soul forming, Alicia refused to sit still. Chiffon affirmed she never doubted delicious capabilities in her years of service. Giffen hugged her, assuring her she did great. Journey's drain all noble or not. Resting, Alicia found the mattress softer than the mansion's cots. Alicia felt useless for not helping. Chiffon brushed it off, but Alicia refused to let it go. Stay calm, do better tomorrow. Day 2's escort rain poured. Yabai wakes to a soaked Mel and tosses her a blanket. He asks for news, but she says only the red cliffs snoring rivaled the rain. Liz warned Miyabi the rain might delay their departure. Miyabi worried the rain would ruin their schedule, but Liz said it's only bad right now. The region's weather was wild, so she'd check by noon if it cleared, ready to stay another night. Miyabi served breakfast and watched closely. Soul claim and watch earned her a treat. Miyabi whipped up killer ramen. Liz wanted Mel's dish, but Miyabi warned it might be too heavy for morning. She didn't get heady, he'd underestimated her appetite. He woke the old-timers, they knocked. But silent. Miyabi underestimated Red Cliff, but realized it too late. Noise drew Alicia out. Miyabi greeted her, asking the time. Liz assured her, no worries, they'd wait until the rain stopped. Miyabi realized Red Cliff overestimated their power. Alicia asked about breakfast, the Abbey confirmed. He asked if she'd change or fix her hair first. Realizing her sheer pajamas, disastrous hair. Alicia slammed the door and fled. Liz called Miyabi ruthless for his bluntness. Prepared, Alicia apologized, eager to fix her errors. She offered to cook anything, but Miyabi brushed the offer aside. He insisted all tasks were equal. Chiffon joined, laughing and praising his unmatched duty. He let Alicia pass since no one minded. Excited to work with Miyabi, rain persisted, so they stayed another day, monitoring weather. Red Cliff apologized, embarrassed he slept until late afternoon. Miyabi served Liz the ramen he made. Eating their back to normal. Miyabi waited for them to adjust, aiming to master Lake Liz. By morning, the weather was perfect for travel. Liz hit Miyaga's window for food. Alicia led him to the kitchen. Never overestimate again. Chiffon giggled, Alicia on the floor avoiding soft pillows. Knowing her tough nature, Miyabi stayed quiet to avoid more embarrassment. Alishin started breakfast, all Miyabi noted her charm. Meanwhile, Guildmasters Young met. Don asked Master Georgie if he'd waited long, though he'd hoped to dodge this meeting. Unavoidable now, he bowed, regretting the renovation contract's issues. Irritable, Georgie called it a pointless hassle. He blasted Zion for losing control and hiring a fool, warning him to be grateful he wasn't blacklisted. Enraged, Zion stays silent to avoid conflict, admitting his carelessness and vowing diligence. Georgie remains grumpy without a reply. Duke Baldini suddenly appeared, noting Georgie still hated crafters. He greeted Zan, eager to show him something. He leads Zion to Miyabi's custom bathroom. Stunned, John admitted even top professionals would struggle to create this. Duke saw most crafters made poor goods, but Miyabi rivaled skilled artisans, using just an inventory's extra-dimensional space. Miyabi allied with other elite dukes. Duke saw Miyabi through Zan's eyes, realizing Adventure Miyabi was Angolem's key asset. They must cover 150 li from Angoline to the capital in just 2 weeks. They marched from dawn to dusk. Pounding rain made their trek grueling. 6 days in, rain finds them indoors again. Chiffon worried about reaching the capital on time. Liz apologized and called a timeout. Miyabi asked if school began before they arrived. Liz worried about falling behind. Liz knew her excuses were pathetic. In Angela, she managed the land and charmed elite guilds. As the Lord's heir, her life was pure politics. Winter breaks hurt studies, so teachers gave extra work to catch up. Liz feared she'd face back-to-back all-nighters upon arrival. She asked about the topics, Liz confirmed she did. Blushing, Liz offered to tutor her. Surprised, she agreed and they studied. Miyabi and Laura watched, totally confused. Miyabi shocked Laura didn't follow, her spell book unused. Laura showed him the book, explaining people assume book-carrying adventurers know magic theory, but admitted it's not her strength. She couldn't teach theory to a noble girl. Watching Liz, Laura saw her father in her. Stunned by Liz's knowledge, she asked her school. Liz admitted she was self-taught, shocking Shivan. Thinking Wise trained her. Liz worked and studied at the Adventurers Guild, unwilling to burden Wise for tuition. Chiffon was stunned they befriended such a powerhouse. Liz dismissed her skills as pure theory until Laura's sneeze cut them short. Liz told Laura to dress for the weird weather. The rain was way too early and she wanted answers. Dart arrives demanding an urgent meeting. He visited a nearby village where weird weather lasted a week. Liz reviewed the guild's 5 years of weather data. Rainy season hit early and this downpour wasn't stopping. Snow blanketed the capital, high peaks its defense. Climbing from the valley brought colder air. This posed a greater challenge. Moving faster, they'd outrun the worst snowstorms. Next day, Liz and Miyabi hit the road by carriage. Liz asked if Dart meant they were baggage. He clarified they must double speed, running 8 hours daily, but doubted they'd sustain it. Even with his gear's massive power boosts, Miyabi couldn't break through. Humiliated, Liz hung her head and admitted she couldn't do it. It was agreed Liz would scout. Day 7 journey began. A huge tree blocked their path, so Dart asked Miyabi for help. Miyabi instantly cleared it, letting them move on. At lunch, Luana tells Miyabi she's changing their meals to boost energy for the cold nights. Liz called Miyabi impressive. Redcliffe relied on him. He praised her scouting. Recalling Laura's praise, her precise magic pinpointed the enemy's exact numbers and distance. Miyabi spoke unaware. Liz fell silent. Liz knew Miyabi's skill amazed all. His unique abilities set him apart. He couldn't find anything unique to feel distinctive. He catches Karen muttering to herself. He cut him off, sensing something was off. Karen told Sid he was inventory training. On the last day of renovations, Miyabi gave Karen a custom training plan to follow step by step. Sid recalled Miyabi's massive inventory and immediately wanted in. Wise revealed Miyabi fled to the capital long ago. Karen hoped Miyabi was safe wherever he was. Miyabi worried about Liz, who seemed weary since yesterday but acted fine. Writing beat walking, and Miyabi watched to see if he was rattled. But Dart's plan crushed her, even though they knew it was vital for safety. It still felt unjust. Before leaving, Liz spent a day in the library studying roots and monsters. She took her leader role seriously. When trouble hit, Tada took charge, leaving Liz crushed. Dark summoned Liz and Miyabi. He points to a massive statue marking the border. Red mountains lead straight to the royal capital. Liz sensed danger and shouted a warning. Monster above Piniat at 4 o'clock. 3 monsters 15 meters away. Dart left them for Liz. He fired ice needles. Miyabi thought they dodged, but the needles looped back and killed the leader. Liz's strike on the leader drove the others off. Back at the carriage, Chiffon asks about the ice needle spell and Liz confirms it. Chiffon was puzzled. Ice needles usually fly straight, but she saw this one curve midair. She asked. Liz explained it was finely tuned magical control. Liz alters needle targets remotely, a skill honed by practice. Chiffon was hyped. Liz offered training later, and she eagerly accepted. Dart hoped the favorable weather held 5 nights to rest. Chiffon and Liz forged ice needles. Chiffon's needles kept crashing into obstacles, but Liz reminded her it's always hard at first. She served cookies Yabai made. Chiffon, despite her father's tales, overlooked the journey's hardship. Miyabi built walkway rain covers and provided desks and blackboards for study sessions. Always impressing Chiffon, she wondered how Liz and Miyabi met. Liz explained they met when he got lost in woods near Angela. She led him to town, but he was broke, so they teamed up naturally. Chiffon questioned Liz's existing group. This new rearguard mages rarely worked alone. Shifter shifted focus, asking Skiffin about her magic training. Skiffin admitted little. He focused on advanced magic. Liz saw Chiffon's massive magic power. Talent was everything. Liz admitted she lacked it. Mastering magic requires 3 things: theory to build spells, skill to control them, and raw power to fuel it all. Skills can be learned, but magic power determines success, and it's decided at birth. Like muscles, it strengthened with use, but Liz, trying every method, stalled for a year. She mastered her limited power with perfect precision. To use stronger skills with less magic, she studied complex theory. Talent surged ahead, leaving her behind. Effort couldn't close the gap. Liz spiraled into doubt, feeling completely insignificant. Complaining useless, she trained. She demanded Yuffin's hand. Magic surges from the palm. Liz aligned Ifan's magic with hers, making her remember the feeling for practice. Liz's lesson mirrored her father's identical training. Miyabi knocked on Dart's door, ready to talk. Tyson replied. Dart's arrested, guessing it's about Liz. He welcomed Miyabi and served Hago tea. Drinking, Tyson asked about Liz. Miyabi said she was visibly down, especially after the carriage ride. Tyson agreed. Lizzie's moves obvious. He asked if the carriage issue was what Miyabi wanted to discuss with Dart, adding little could be done. Miyabi's actually worried about other problems. Redcliffe named Liz leader, but she felt totally undermined. He backed Redcliffe's plan, but doubted Liz would lead as intended. They asked Tyson if Liz lacked their experience. Miyabi saw Tyson tear up. He felt ready, but Liz grown-up hit him hard. Apologizing for the distraction, he knew telling Dart now would only backfire. He told Miyabi to drop it. Tyson urged Miyabi, rally Redcliffe members, protect Liz. Miyabi took the task. It fit his goals perfectly. Tyson cried again from his commitment. 2 days later, day 10 begins. Miyabi knew Tyson remembered their talk, biding his time. Liz suddenly announced their arrival. Confused, he looked where she pointed. They'd entered the Valley of Dragons. This stuns Miyabi, revealing these dragons live in peace with humans. They notice nesting season. Dragons get aggressive, but only along the breeding grounds road, closed for months. Alicia asked what's next. Dart pushed for a detour as their best option. The mountain detour connected to the highway, adding 4 or 5 days. As Alicia and Dart argued, Liz cut in with a new plan. Miyabi carves a shortcut. They sped through the cave. They hit a dead end at a cave waterfall. Miyabi suggests backtracking for a fresh angle. He sensed danger just as a giant slime dropped, but Nell sliced it apart to save Miyabi. They raised defenses, scanning for enemies. Liz was stunned. They'd already scouted the rock crevices. Something appears and they instantly know. They're trapped in a slime nest. Taking off shock, Miyabi thought clearly. Worse than their underground fight. Trapped by water, they had no idea what lurked below. Null hacked through the slimes. He ordered them find an exit. Liz found no exit, so Null told her to create one. Her talent nullified other slime attacks. Slime's unique attack dissolves flesh and bone. Slimes move slow, exposing their weak central core. Alone, they're harmless. Swarming in tight spaces, they're deadly. Slimes seep through carriage gaps, making defense in tight quarters tough. Liz froze, unsure. Guilt crushed her for suggesting the mountain route. Blinded by guilt, she missed the slime's attack, forcing Dart to sacrifice his arm to save her. Dark stayed calm, trusting Laura. She snapped at him to shut up, focusing on her spell. He drops a healing circle. Dart's armor instantly mended. Acid damage vanished in seconds, but wide area healing magic drained immense power. Liz sensed Laura's elven power. But wouldn't stay passive. Laura healed, yet Liz blamed herself for Dart's wound. Determined to prove herself, she readied her ice needle for the approaching slimes. Dart unleashed power. The ground erupted. Seeing his air rank power, Liz felt like useless dead weight. Dart's power faded. Miyabi saw all slimes obliterated. He asked, "My turn." "Fight's not over." Laura asked Liz, "Remember Dad's fighting style?" He gripped Liz's hand, sharing her magic. Laura recalled Liz's dad debating her magic type. She chose magical guidance and a perfect technique. Strong magic demands perfect control and deep knowledge. Slimes slip through tiny gaps. How to escape if brute force fails? Laura trusted Liz to find a way, urging her to consider what's left after ruling out the impossible. Liz knew the gaps needed sealing. With ample water, she could make it work. Why hadn't she thought of it sooner? She remembered training Lady Shafen. Practice these principles nightly. They adjusted a spell's magic to alter its path. Theoretically, you controlled the spell completely until activation. Liz hijacked Laura's magic mid-cast, a complex but necessary move. Giving it everything, Laura and Liz unleashed Flash Freeze. Dart reveals her father's technique, but Liz misses it. Miyabi gaped as slimes froze solid, floor to ceiling. He spots something, asks Dart. Dart identifies it as light, meaning the river flows outside. That opening was their escape. Dart warns ice and snow will drastically slow them. Miyabi's power makes a tunnel quicker. Miyabi summoned everyone for his next move. He stenciled the metal and cut the base. He beveled the edge and smoothed the bottom blade. And then mass-produced by repeating. Slapped them on their shoes. Miyabi forged ice skates. He admitted he sucked at skating. Dart was ready, but the carriage was a gamble. Miyabi added sleigh treads to make it work. Preparations finished, they headed out. They noticed the slime's jelly form wouldn't dissolve in water. They bolted from the tunnel. His Bootney apologized for Chiffon's ordeal, blaming herself for suggesting the dangerous shortcut. Chiffon rejected the apology, fueling Liz's rage. He insisted they reach the capital fast. Liz made the right call, but nobody saw the road closure coming. Detour inevitable, Chiffon praised Liz's quick thinking for solving it. He smiled, assuring Liz it's fine, no apology needed. Gotta apologize again. Chiffon stopped her, stressing only results mattered, despite Liz's distress. Chiffon warned her to stop obsessing over mistakes because perfectionism is toxic. Liz saw her perfectionism was a problem. Chiffon's kindness stunned Alicia once she returned to her carriage. Dart and Laura teased Liz, impressed by her composure. Liz fought beside Laura, proving she'd finally matured. Dart spoke up. He hugged Liz, missing their fourth member. Urged her to join Redcliffe. Guildmaster investigated Miyabi, contacting every Angela branch but found no Miyabi records in 4th year. Guilds ran most professions. At 12, kids start apprenticeships, joining merchant, adventurer, or production guilds. Guildmaster scoured all 3 records, nothing. No guild card, you'll need money, family status, or foreign roots. Remembering the Duke's words, he suspected Miyabi was a spy. Back on the road, Liz weighed Dart's offer. Miyabi noticed her worried look. He asked why she left, but she just needed time to think. Miyabi worried the nearby tunnel made it a risky break spot. Liz countered slimes prefer humidity and wouldn't emerge in the sun. Awkward silence broke as Miyabi asked what was wrong. Liz was surprised he read her face, but Miyabi called it obvious. He hesitated, unsure he'd listen. Miyabi promised not to pressure her as he turned to leave. Liz grabbed his shirt, demanding he listen. It involved him. Settled, Liz revealed Redcliffe invited her to join their party. Shocked, Miyabi asked her reply. She requested time to consider. Redcliffe approached her when she first started adventuring. She declined. At 10, she feared hindering their rank. Above all, she sought independence and her own path. She still felt unworthy, but couldn't risk losing her rank by declining again. He was torn. To make things worse, Redcliffe invited Miyabi. Though D-ranked, Miyabi's A-level skills make Redcliffe's offer a prime chance for wealth and recognition. Liz paused, then asked him for the best move. Miyagi didn't mind either way. He could craft anywhere, rankings or money didn't matter. Liz panicked, realizing she alone cared about those goals, but Miyabi quickly assured her he wasn't judging. He told her enjoy adventure and comfort, her happiness was his. Malik warns every choice leads to regret. Hard times make her question if another path was better. Miyabi regretted dwelling on the past, but his own choices kept him pushing forward. He backed Liz's choice, no regrets. Liz laughed. Miyabi sounded like her father. Seriously, she thanked him, saying she'd think it over. At camp, Miyabi tries to stop Alicia from washing dishes, but she refuses to quit. Miyabi frantically packs. Exposed food draws danger. Unexpected visitors startle the group. They looked harmless as an old man stepped up to apologize. He's Dominic, leader of Brando's Monedry. Drawn by the food's aroma, the traveling troupe mistook the camp for a mountain restaurant. Dominic saw Miyabi's group as bodyguards. Noble Dharma introduces himself, catching Dominic off guard. Fan obsessed with Redcliffe's monster stampedes. Dominic nearly collapsed, but Dirt caught him. Still hyped, Dominic said it was just his emotions. Dominic's troop traveled from target territory to perform in Angela. Heavy rain stalled them. Their supplies ruined, they starved for days. Desperate, they begged for food and rushed to the village at Dragon Valley's base. Arden announced Dragon Valley closed for breeding season, suggesting a detour. This adds 5 days to their journey. Dart returned and flatly rejected Liz's offer to lead the performers back. He admitted even he couldn't track everyone at once. The mission came first. Laura noted a week's extra supplies remained after the escort. 20 troops won't be enough. Miyabi offered their food using his storage skill, but it'd spoil. Even his Black Hawk jerky wasn't enough. Dart told Miyabi to unpack the heavy bags. He reveals cheese and nuts, offering them to the performers. Silent Chiffon offered to patrol as the troop rested. Miyabi noticed Dart packed extra supplies, expecting him to fall behind. Miyabi now favored joining Redcliffe. Liz dreamed of joining the guild, fast-tracking to A rank, and traveling with her would be fun. The performers thanked them and headed out. Miyabi swore Liz would never suffer again. Tyson confronted Dart that night for inviting Liz and Miyabi, despite agreeing to wait till mission's end. Dart admitted Miyabi pushed him. Despite awkwardness, Miyabi offered valuable support. Laura insisted they needed Liz, a lonely rear guard. Miyabi proved his worth. Dart's noble house leadership experience made Liz and Miyabi ideal for Redcliffe. Their time together changed Tyson's stance. He doubted Redcliffe was best for Liz. Dart asked what's wrong. 8 years ago, Liz started it, Tyson explained. They just wanted her to live a happy life. They vowed anything for her happiness. They watched Liz as Tyson asked if they saw. He believed Redcliffe was Liz's dream. Once alone with the three, Liz's smile vanished. They protested, but Tyson asked if they'd seen her smile on the trip. They stopped as Dart replayed his memories, realizing he'd missed Liz's expressions. Liz's unhappiness crushed him, stole his sleep. By morning, he dismissed Tyson's reaction as total overkill. Liz smiled at Miyabi, crushing Tyson's doubts. Liz spotted Dart, her smile vanished, and she asked why he was up so early. Dart focused on the mission, only 20 kilometers to the rest stop. He asked what Miyabi was doing and saw he'd crafted a coat for the cold. Miyabi called a break after they stopped. He brought fleece cushions. He noticed Chiffon called once he entered the mountains. Mel startled him from the carriage window. Dart heard the noise and saw her laughing with Miyabi. Tyson noted Liz's smile. Dart, eager to help, gave her his scarf, but it failed. Liz scolded him for leaving Laura shivering. He begged them to chill out as a personal favor. Dart dismissed it as coincidence. Remembering cheerful Liz, heavy snow forced them to a halt. Miyabi needed prep time. Dart pushed them to keep moving. The snow wouldn't stop and they had to leave before getting buried. 3 hours of pushing reaches the capital's far cliff where snow lightens. Dart urged moving for safety and progress. But Liz intervened, insisting they camp. Freezing cold, zero visibility, and lurking monsters make pushing forward a death sentence. Dart hates last-minute changes. Morn waiting doubles their travel time. He should relent, but Dart pressed on. Liz understood, but they had Miyabi. Day 12, she reminded Dart Miyabi tunnels through rock, so snowbanks no issue. Snow's cleared, letting them hit flat ground. Miyabi slows their pace, but they'll reach the capital by sunset. Liz doubted her call, but Darda confirmed she'd balanced progress and saved energy. He called it the best. Liz finally shared a genuine laugh with Dart. Dart wondered his praise or her ego. Later, Dart confided in Tyson and Laura. Rise-powered Red Cliff. The lone wolf teamed up with street-tough Laura and late-bloomer Tyson. Rise died, Liz carried his legacy. Dart felt like a fool, he only wanted her smile. Staring at her, he missed the truth. He needed his friend's help to treat her right. Mel requested more food. He loves the Black Orch brisket sub. Liz explained beastmen need more food for their muscles. Her fast metabolism burned calories, so she ate rapidly. Miyabi assumed Tyson briefed the group, but didn't know the exact words. Whatever was said, Dart calmed after that snowy day. After a grueling trek, they finally made it. They sighted the royal capital on mission day 14. That day, Liz felt torn about her next move. Miyabi asked if she's still undecided about the Red Cliff. Liz admitted stress, but the Duke claimed he wanted to prove her value. Miyabi left the value to the Duke, knowing the group crushed it. Liz felt she contributed nothing on the trip, shooting Miyabi a sharp look, questioning his attitude. Miyabi snapped that he was there the whole time, and her plan was the only reason they arrived on schedule. Liz snapped he'd have the same idea 5 minutes later. He praised her mountain tunnel plan, saving time, but she noted it caused a slime attack. Frustrated, Miyabi told her, "Accept the compliment." She admitted telling herself the same thing. Miyabi was stunned. She kept pushing herself into self-doubt, wondering if her mind always did this. Looking back, he finally saw the red flags in her words. Liz asked, "Are ambitions wrong?" Lady Chiffon warned that obsessing over flaws for perfection is toxic. Liz was different. She set high standards, then wondered if it was wrong. Miyabi's blunt answer was enough. He worried how seriously she took everything. He insisted she just listen, saying she was too self-critical. Noticing her surprise, he switched tactics. He asked her what she was good at. She said studying because he loved the thrill, but she was no master. Miyabi interrupted, "She's doing it again." He put on his glasses. He broke down self-esteem. He warned her more lessons. She panicked, her mind blank. He eased her fear. Love a powerful force shifts mountains. He quietly mentioned a reliable man. He checked her hand and said her journey was just beginning, but noted she was already a master at reading her surroundings. Miyabi made her boldly declare she loved studying. Lesson or not, Liz was mortified. Next day, Chiffon said she enjoyed last night. Liz realized their chaotic shouting leaked right out of the courtroom. Chiffon noticed Liz was happier. Day 15, they hit the royal capital. 2 weeks later, relentless efforts ensured Angoline's safe arrival. Skiff thanked everyone for their mission dedication. Beach over, Alicia told her the room was ready. Chiffon remained still. Redcliffe paused as Liz and Dart waited. He asked again, would she join them? Liz spent days reflecting on what she wanted and how to live. She thanked Laura for teaching her to fight like her father, a debt she could never repay. She never imagined reaching this level. Their advanced spellcast, she beamed with joy. One image haunted her, standing by Laura taking her father's place. She doubted she could handle it. She knew she was being stubborn but refused to replace her father, choosing to forge her own path. With skills and magic, she aimed to make them proud, holding Miyazaki's hand. He rejected Redcliffe. Miyabi, flustered, warned her actions could spark more misunderstandings. Dart and the crew saw it coming and calmly accepted Liz's choice. Offered to handle the guild's report, then walked off. Dart warned them not to lie, as their story will be cross-checked with Lady Chiffon's report. Duke Baldini made the final call on meeting noble demands. Liz asked if he would dissuade her, but he didn't. Miyabi and Liz teamed up perfectly. Laura noted they're still missing a vanguard. Liz, change your mind. They headed out as Liz shook off her surprise. Crying, say goodbye to Chiffon. Redcliffe gone, he closed in. She'd never met Redcliffe, making this a refreshing change. Parenting's complex, she chuckled. She asked to head back to Angela, but Liz stayed to explore this rare chance. They rarely visit the capital, so they'll make it count. Chiffon requested a favor. Meanwhile, the guild master told Duke Baldini tracing adventurer Miyabi failed. He checked all government records, interviewed Miyabi's pre-city contacts, found no proof he ever existed. Baldini demanded the guild master's verdict. The guild master notes crafters rarely join adventurers, preferring the production guild instead. Miyabi just filling a support gap wouldn't be a problem. His identity remained a mystery. He illegally built the Lord's residence, but the evidence was weak. At worst, he's a foreign spy. Baldini laughed off the grim suggestion and teased him. He called the guild master's textbook response shallow. He ignored Master Weiss's side. For espionage in a duke's home, Master Weiss was a logical choice. Weiss prized honesty and hard work, exposing anyone with a hidden motive. Only passionate crafters got WISES approval. Weiss first met Miyabi and instantly praised him. Posing as a crafter was a terrible way to spy on a duke, since Georgie and other aristocrats looked down on them. Baldini accepted anyone who posed no threat. Risk it all or waste the chance. He only cared about Miyabi's power source, ignoring everything else. The guildmaster was stunned. Baldi only asked about the source of Miyabi's power. The guildmaster gave her all but realized Liz was just a pawn for the duke. He pressed Balding about her foreseen answer. Baldini hadn't, but it didn't matter. His next moves were planned. Chiffon ordered Alicia to grab her journal from her bags to write an entry. Holsha suggested resting after their long trip, but since it was just writing, they pushed forward. Alicia urged her to rest, warning that the work was too much to handle so soon. Chiffon replied not everyone had adventurers' endurance. He asked if Alicia worried Liz would be upset. Alicia ignored her feelings to focus on Chiffon's health, and Chiffon understood. He assured her rest, then invited Alicia to join tomorrow. Alicia often slipped out to journal. Worried or not, she couldn't defy the order. Walking down the hallway, she spotted her brother and reassured him she was unharmed. This tells Miyabi they never said goodbye to Mel. Miyabi said Mel vanished mid-conversation. Liz wanted to apologize for the trouble but missed her chance. Miyabi added Mel even stuck her with a night shift. He wished you'd at least thanked her for helping. Liz hoped they'd celebrate. Miyabi then realized, mission complete, no rap party. He moved to act but Liz cut him off. She's embarrassed. He almost called everyone back after her outburst. He denied the plan but Liz still blocked him, so he suggested tracking Mel. Liz devised a simple lure. Miyabi doubted its success, but it instantly succeeded. Now Liz and Miyabi toasted their successful escort mission. Nell eyed the feast and asked to dig in. Miyabi agreed, so Nell snatched their portions. Whispered to Liz was hoarding smart when the feast just began. Miyabi entertained Mel while Liz eyed his villainous smirk. He monologued eating her food. Nell loved the charming venue. Miyabi picked a spot she'd love, but she questioned why. Liz said they put her through hell, especially at Red Cliff, and thanked her for her support. He finally understood and accepted it. His new Mel always loved cute things since they met. Nell insisted she liked the place too, but Liz teased she'd outgrown that phase. Miyabi laughed at their banter, sensing their deep history. Liz and Mel met outside Weiss Smithy. It's rare to see a girl smaller than her ask for a knife. No freebies meant Liz sold the knife. Miyabi thought Mel suffered, but Mel set him straight. He claimed being cast out by her family was normal. He asked if they were childhood friends, but Liz explained even as adventurers, they rarely spent time, and she quickly outranked Mel. Nobles flooded them with invites while official missions arrived through standard channels. Miyabi asked if other swordsmen could do that, but Nell was an exception. Despite their fame, Redcliffe still signed through the guild. Miyabi recalled Laura's comment about needing a vanguard, realizing Mel was one. Excited, both asked if she joined a party. She refused, so Miyabi grabbed her hand and joined them with a question. He saw their enthusiasm. She joined for the food. They agreed, using her old cottage to take requests together. She didn't hate them, but she demanded to live and die on her own terms. She had conditions for her life which wouldn't align with their plans. Doc Miyabi said he understood. He admitted getting carried away, imagining her joining. It felt like her old party. He grinned at them. Liz and Miyabi head to meet Chiffon but spot Mel tailing them. Miyabi thought she went home, but Mel snaps she'll leave when she feels like it. Chiffon was shocked to see Mel. Miyabi ignored the tension, knowing the city was better with a squad. Details sorted, Skiffon declared that for today's adventure, the more people the better. Liz and Miyabi stared, confused how sightseeing counted as errands. Chiffon thanked Liz for making it possible. Liz looked confused. Chiffon reminded her of her past help on their journey. She finally had the chance to explore the city, and they couldn't say no. They first hit the Holy of Stella Church, a site vital to Liz and Miyabi. Chiffon explains this temple honors the mother of all gods, but Miyabi's weird behavior earns him a sharp warning from Liz. Miyabi saw the activity, asked Liz, who called it a class appraisal. He didn't get appraisals, so she asked if he knew classes went beyond combat and production. Inventory skills reveal their type. Subdivisions gave specific classifications, but these distinctions were hard to spot. A magical stone determined class, reacting to each person like a litmus test. Liz didn't need it. Class magic inherited from parents. Kids inherited their parents' classes, and deviations were rare. Once they grew up, skills awakened naturally with instant mastery. Parents got early appraisals to see which lineage would dominate. Tourists got a certificate with the church's authentic seal for a keepsake. Liz felt like a clueless bumpkin. Miyabadi wanted a certificate, but Liz stopped him from wasting money. Chiffon intervened, offering to pay as a gift, remembering her father's words. He asked if Miyabi was fine being the only one without an appraisal. The church glowed radiantly for the infant's appraisal. The senior priest noted the crimson hue indicated a bright future as a swordsman. The priest called the baby's immense power rare, while Miyabi saw the parents were thrilled. The priest explained strong combat magic guarantees a successful life. Next, Liz and Miyawa's appraisals began. A gift from the 12 goddesses. After praying for Liz, they told her to touch the stone. As Liz whined about being weaker than an infant, the priest declared her purple glow proved she was a mage. Liz wondered Miyabi's true power. She'd soon find out when Miyabi touched the stone. Liz expected massive magic. The intense light briefly blinded all. Miyabi and others couldn't grasp what happened. Alarmed, the priest declared no magic of this scale recorded. Asked about the class, overwhelming light obscured it. Miyabi touched the stone again. This time the priest glimpsed, shocking everyone. Miyabi is named a crafter, a weak class despite his massive magic. The priest seized their disappointment. Declared no class inferior, told them to grab their certificate downstairs, then blessed them as they left. Miyabi hated the outcome. Liz's immense frustration surprised him. He tried to speak, but Liz punched him as Chiffon eased the tension. Chiffon asked Mel for an appraisal, but Mel declined. Alicia obsessed over the strange light. Miyabi felt off since the start. She wondered if that light explained why Chiffon joined. As they left from the church steps, the priest saw Baldini's messenger and sensed something massive was coming. In 50 years, the elder had never seen magic this massive, outclassing even royalty. Shaken, the priest asked what happens next, but for once, the wise elder had no answers. "I don't know," he muttered, sounding unsure. He'd never faced anything like this. Miyabi stares at the sea, pondering the appraisal, numb to oddities, but this still stunned him. He crafted his every vision. He poured immense effort into mastering this world, feeling skilled, and liked his dedication acknowledged. This broke his trance, remarking on the ocean's beauty. He first saw it, then asked when he did. Miyabi saw it as a kid, wondered if it was unique to the capital, and quickly changed the subject. Dreaded deceiving Liz. 8 years ago, a monster stampede ravaged the area. The people are joyful. Chiffon joins, asking Liz if the city's wounds were visible. Capital was far from Angoline, yet reports detailed its destruction. Liz grew curious. Chiffon explained the court mage's shields prevented catastrophe. Wise, powerful mages serve royalty, protecting the city, port, and beyond with advanced magic. Beyond the Great Bridge outside the wall, they suffered most. Downtown aimed to expand, but even after rebuilding, Chiffon heard progress stall. She mourned the slums beyond the main road lacked security, urging caution. Miyabi asked Liz if they'd camped at the outer wall yesterday. A woman yelled at another for opening a shop, cutting their talk short. She said the market sold only elite goods, for nobles and served by their staff. She trashed the woman's wares, but the vendor fired back, insisting she'd paid for the spot too. Miyabi found the capital unsafe. Liz couldn't stay silent. He ordered the man to let her go, but she screamed, "Who is Liz?" Liz warned her to let go, urging rational talk. The woman misread it as a threat. Miyabi panicked. Chiffon stayed calm, demanding a list. Just as a large man attacked Liz, Alicia turned formidable. Saving Liz and crushing the giant, Chiffon revealed Alicia was her personal knight. The woman demanded answers, but Chiffon just praised her vegetables. Her elegant poise convinced the woman she was a high-ranking noble's daughter. They questioned her presence while slamming the others' prices. Chiffon, on phase, preferred this vendor's display to the nearby one, decorating with food, showing her refined taste. Guardians arrived and dragged her away. Liz thanked Alicia, amazed by her strength, but Alicia quickly clarified she didn't do it for Liz. The woman thanked Liz for the rescue and asked if Chiffon still wanted to buy. Chiffon gave 2 reasons, admitting it wouldn't suit a noble's table. Intrigued, she noticed the carrot smelled unique, unlike others. Thrilled, she pointed out her village halfway up the mountain. It grew sweet produce despite plain looks. Miyabi knew snow carrots. Snow-grown carrots are sweeter, maybe it's similar here. They wondered why it rained. He revealed mountains were snow-capped since autumn. Skiff, wondering if those crops would grow in Angoline's climate. Miyabi, clueless about farming, admitted he didn't know, the one who overheard Angoline. Her daughter moved there for an apprenticeship. What a lucky coincidence. Miyabi promised her daughter was doing fine in Angoline. Carrots bought, he asked Chiffon if she was sure it was fine. Chiffon admitted she went overboard on veggies. Too much for even their chefs, she suddenly had a plan. She knew a place with many people needing vegetables on their way home. Miyabi and Liz feared the royal palace. Entering the grand structure confirmed their fears. The boy spotted them enter. Alicia played the perfect maid, but Skiffon saw right through her transparent heart. Writing in her diary, she remembered her father's warning. Miyabi's skills were too powerful for a basic crafter, and she had to find his true class. Dad's odd caution made her add more to her diary. It stopped for now. Her father taught her much, but some things were untaught. He was her own person. Entering the royal palace, her actions for him also served her own desires. A soldier stopped them, insisting a lady shouldn't carry her own vegetables, and Liz agreed. Saw the quantity was too much for one servant. Mid-talk, the boy watching rushed over, overjoyed to see Chiffon. Etsy lunged to hug her, she dodged, he stumbled. Miyabi and Liz watched, baffled in the royal palace, as this boy got chummy with a duke's daughter. Chiffon announced her fiancé, Crest Forchet, the third prince. Stunned, they followed inside. The duke's mansion didn't prepare Miyabadi for this palace's luxury, and he wondered what was between Crest and Chiffon. Crest apologized, wishing he'd known she was coming so he could have grabbed her favorite sweets. Watching them flirt, Miyabi didn't know how to react. Liz, sweating, cut in, "Are we allowed here?" Crest apologized for ignoring guests, then asked Chiffon for introductions. She introduced Liz, Miyabi, and Mel, her escorts from Angoline. Crest was impressed, they were nearly Chiffon's age. He questioned their guard talk. Miyabi nervously explained they gifted carrots. Heading to set the staff's kitchens was a waste since Miyabi's inventory made the carrots weightless anyway. Crest asked if Miyabi worked production. He remembered being an adventurer expecting combat. Miyabi corrected, he's a craftsman, usually support. Crest's surprise revealed his crafting. Miyabi gasped, a prince a crafter. Jeff laughed, asking why crafters among royalty shocked them. They pushed for answers and she admitted the topic was touchy, but she and Crest were fine. Liz asked if it came up at the cathedral. Chiffon explained magic is hereditary, so family classes are predictable. Miyabi remembered her saying that. Chiffon says power means leading during a crisis to stop the bloodshed. Their first king's principle made nobles favor combat classes, swordsman or magician, a class was fixed. She got their shock. If true, how did a prince end up as a simple crafter? He wouldn't dwell on it, fearing they knew too much and he'd face consequences, but Crest wasn't like that. He didn't hide his class but didn't flaunt it. Shaking, he knew Miyabi and Liz understood the noble stigma against crafters. Chiffon asked Miyabi about the mountain cushion he crafted for her. Miyabi quickly grabbed it. Chiffon showed Crest the fabric, its quality and warmth astonished him. Miyabi boasted it held fire enchantments. Crest marveled at crafter's skill. Chiffon asked Crest to create items like Miyabi. Crest admitted Miyabi's skills were remarkable, but he'd never used his crafting abilities. He thought he could match Miyabi, but Chiffon cut him off, reminding him to stop being so hard on himself. Her earnestness made Crest apologize and promise. Miyabi again saw society's cruelty to crafters. He was wrong, crafting isn't about status, it's about fun for anyone who tries. Miyabi told Crest to start small, make Chiffon a gift. He learned crafting is best for loved ones, so he suggested making his fiancée a gift. He reminded Crest of his wish, make her happy. Crest glanced at Chiffon. He crafted a small lap blanket. Her legs got cold last picnic, inspiring his project choice. Miyabi was eager to start, and later observed Crest's crafting skill. Crest couldn't stop his blanket disintegrating. Miyabi's blanket with royal luster and texture stunned Crest. Its intricate embroidery. Miyabi had to apologize for Crest's reaction. He thought he lacked skill, but even at level 1 this shapeless mess was bizarre. Miyabi asked Crest about his craft skills, but he didn't even know the word, forcing her to start from zero. Crafters master 3 unique skills: crafting, handicrafts, and cooking. He warned Crest's skills take practice. Crest started crafting immediately, but an hour later he questioned Miyabi in frustration. Crafts were way harder than expected, and his blanket was a total mess. He effortlessly channels magic into threads. Visualizing stitches with magic was too much, he was fried. Miyabi reassured him, suggesting they could fix stitches manually, but paused seeing Crest cry. Final selection. Crest refused to give Chiffon such sloppy work. Crest refused to give Chiffon such sloppy work. Chiffon grabbed his hand as he sobbed. He told him to respect his precious blanket. She never asked for royal quality. She didn't care about its flaws. His thought and care mattered. She wanted his first creation. Crest, moved by her words, wept uncontrollably. Later, Crest finished a lap blanket and gave it to Chiffon. As Miyabi headed back, Crest apologized for showing his soft side but admitted he had fun. He asked to meet tomorrow for more crafting, and Miyabi gladly agreed, thrilled he was into it. Crest told him to drop formalities, use his name. Alicia watched Chiffon talk to the group. Chiffon rarely escaped her duke duties to cherish loved ones. Alicia liked Chiffon better this way. Entering the royal palace stunned her. The prince was Chiffon's world, and Alicia enjoyed the break. She was glad she brought the adventurers. By sunset, she knew they'd never meet again. Skiff thanked everyone for coming. Apologizing for getting carried away, taking too long, she asked where to drop them off for the night. They needed a hotel. Chiffon panicked, then proposed an idea. Inviting them along if they had no plans. Even Alicia was stunned. Chiffon's explanation clicked, but Liz wondered why she'd go to such extremes for their journey. Skiffon begged them to join her at the Royal Academy, leaving Alicia wondering what sparked the move. They submitted their mission report to the guild. Leaner spotted the guildmaster smoking outside. He needed a break. Was his noble job stressing him out? He's been acting weird since the Miyabi investigation. Guildmaster saw Leaner's look, asked her thoughts, and she handed him the mission report. She verified the info and offered it to the Duke, but he cut her off. The chief insisted on delivering the report himself. Helena had never seen him handle routine work, but he stayed silent. Helen Ortiz suggested, bored, join them for a meal. Chiffon led Miyabi and Liz to their Royal Academy rooms. While clothes washed, they ate simple dinners, nerves high at the Royal Academy. Chiffon was overjoyed, asking Liz for extra magic training after dinner while Alicia stood stunned. She retreated to her room, fuming at having to play the polite host. She was fine with B-ranked ventures and Miyabi, but Liz's unqualified, nepotistic leadership infuriated her. Thinking about Liz's actions made her blood boil. Deemed unfit as an adventurer, she resented Skiffon's dismissal. Knock hits Miyabi's door. Alone in her room, Miyabi felt bored, wanting company, but denied it. Out her plushie Kitagawa Taro asking Miyabi for bare clothes. Miyabi agreed, but wondered why now. Let's refine. Nell showed off her plushie kitty. She spotted dressed puppies in Chiffon's room, so Miyabi sketched designs to pick the best. He sewed the plushie's clothes. As he prepared for Cot asked for more. He flashed his skill screen, showing her that clothes and plushies lacked pre-made recipes. His crafting was versatile, but no recipes meant zero options. Low skill levels mean failure. Tucking her in, he explained handcrafting an item registers it as a recipe, letting him recreate it endlessly. Null fell asleep mid-explanation. He constantly reviewed his skills, having transferred Dreamworld recipes and skills to the level cap years ago, but the real issue was scarce recipes. Let's check if it flows dynamically and is simple for teens. Const. He realized the crafting class entry barriers were totally broken. After Cress's struggles, he knew this wasn't the time for emotions. He was exhausted. Even the guest house had a massive training hall, pure elite luxury. So much had changed. Her class appraisal meeting at Prince, so different from her normal life. All because Chiffon begged them to stay. He pictured the prince. Arrested too late to think. Next morning, Miyabi woke up refreshed, but Liz was in a total funk. Panicking, she asked how he slept on that cot. He said it was firmer than he liked, but fine. Liz found it odd. She insists the Duke's cats are custom luxury, proving it with their tons of down 1.5x greater than in cotting. The smooth, thick duvet shows master craftsmanship. She didn't understand their discomfort. Miyabi waited. He scolded her manners, reminding her, guests don't complain about mattresses. Liz quickly blamed Miyabi. They argued while Mal rested on the roof. Dispute done, they left. Miyabi left to teach Cress. Chiffon loved their overnight stay but regretted not staying longer, as Liz pondered Chiffon's kindness. She dropped Miyabi at Cress's mansion, returning that evening to pick him up. Inside the mansion, Cress greeted him, flanked by two men. Miyabi noticed tighter security. Cress debated his bodyguards yesterday, their patience gone. He had something to show Miyabi that morning. He enters a room packed with crafting supplies. Staff left lesson gear in his room. Miyabi was floored by the supplies and shocked they were in Crescent's private space. Chiffon loved the gift, but Crest vowed to make her something even more beautiful. Miyabi blushed at Cress's devotion to Chiffon as he begged for help to redeem his failures. They sat together. Knitting was too tough, so Crest tried simple sewing with pre-made fabrics instead. Miyabi was shocked. Crest studied independently, but suggested retrying yesterday's project. Crest worked the lap blanket. It was full of holes, but it finally held together. Karen's hammer was roughly correct, so Miyabi didn't check it, but that was just for her. He crafted hammers often, making it second nature. Games had auto-crafting, but here he must hunt materials and quest for recipes, master the basics or craft nothing. Crest still struggled despite Miyabi's coaching. Crest ran out of yarn. Miyabi, assuming his inventory limited, searched for more. He screamed at the gasoline, but Crest silenced him, revealing he'd crafted the stash that morning. Miyabi's fiery cushion spell ignites memory. He craved a warm blanket. Caught fire. Miyabi saw its flammability. The material clashed with Crest's magic, but Master Control could fix it. Crest cut in, offering a loophole to use magic despite his level. Miyabi restored everything perfectly. Crest marveled at his precise craftsmanship, then grabbed a skill book. Miyabi cut Crest off, eager to dive back into her earlier idea. Crest devised a way to infuse fire magic into cloth without advanced control. Curious, Miyabi asked how it worked. Crest explained enchanting difficulty depended on spell attitude and material compatibility. Flammable fabric made fire magic a nightmare to control. Crest suggests weaving metal into the fabric to fireproof it before enchanting. He imagines sewing fabric into a pouch, leaving one seam open, metal acting like wires in an electric blanket. Abai instantly saw Crest's genius. Enchanting was now safe, and Miyabi instantly saw Crest's genius. Wait, ingenious is 4 syllables, genius. It solves 2 problems, smooth texture and outdoor durability. He suggested rodent fur, soft, fluffy, durable fabric. Inner chainmail balanced the weight across the lap, and they could even lighten the heavy gear. Crest finished and waited for Miyabi's reaction. She noted it's heavier than an electric blanket but works on the same logic. Crest, thrilled by Miyabi's approval, eagerly started immediately. Crest thought he had to craft raw materials, but Miyabi panicked and revealed a shortcut. Start with mid-gauge wire, wrap it around a pole, cut lengthwise to separate rings, yielding many identical rings. They just had to assemble them, but Miyabi warned it'd be much tougher. Complex items are harder to enchant, and chainmail's tiny links are way beyond their skill level. Crest asked for a simpler way, but Miyabi made him figure it out. Thinking fast, Crest suggests enchanting the rings before linking them. Miyabi spotted Crescent's calloused hands. Crest just finished sword practice, a royal duty he's still forced to master. He confessed crafting was way more fun. Ashamed, he confessed he'd never made anything. Miyabi blamed his princely status, but Crest revealed the truth. His crafting class tormented those he loved. He could improve for their sake, but it felt like compensating for failure. Giffen's joy over the gift left his heart feeling heavy yet warm. Igniting creative desire, Miyabi thought Crest spoke metaphorically. Real fire erupted behind him as they scrambled to put it out. The table erupted. Crest suspected a heat source as their shouts alerted the guardians. They burst in, but the airless fire forced them to retreat. His worried Miyabi was struggling solo. She joined because you can't refuse a noble, and she was terrified. Chiffon wanted a girl her age, explaining her disregard for social norms. Abby would handle it better. Liz feared expulsion. Drifting off, Chiffon revealed the main gates were in sight. They reached Maja'ala, the Royal Magic Academy. Null saw halls packed with noble students. Skiff explained the school's noble roots and apologized to Mel for the boring history. Liz was loving it. Chiffon told Alicia to grab the bags, and she left after glaring at Lizzie. Liz sensed a delicious dislike, unsure why, as Skiffon deemed the list's behavior unwarranted. Claiming Liz was her friend and wanting to hang out bothered Alicia. Liz suspected more than friendship, but Skiffon figured she'd move on. But Alicia needed discipline. She toured the Magic Academy, leaving Liz awestruck by its grandeur. In the halls, she saw famous figures in portraits, a celebrity parade. Chiffon loved seeing Liz enjoy herself. Liz found it intimidating to wander openly, wishing she had an inventory. Chiffon saw Liz's obsession with magic science. He asked why she loved magic. Liz never thought about it, asking if love even needs a reason. Chiffon never saw magic as fun. She calls ambition poison because she was raised as a hollow weapon, molded by politics and magic. Liz poured her heart into studies, cherishing her path. Chiffon idolized her. Liz misjudged Chiffon, then thanked her. Chiffon was the first to truly see her. Skiffon reveals this isn't just a tour, cutting Liz off before she can ask why. Explosion behind her flung a man through the air. Chiffon calmly greeted Coraline, who casually responded even upside down. Elle toyed with the staff during their meeting in the professor's room. Magic researcher Professor Coco Coraline introduced himself and offered seats in his tiny, packed room. Liz didn't know him, figured he was new, until his surname screamed kin. He offered tea, calling everyone equal. Coraline saw Liz wasn't a student. Liz clarified she was an adventurer. Jiffin brought Liz to show Coraline something. They showed off outside, thrilling the professor. He tried copying them, failing every time. Liz revealed her method for guiding others' magic. Coraline knew it was unique, once just theory, now revolutionized. Liz says her dad built this to train adventurers who can't read magic. He found Coraline weird but knew he was brilliant. Coraline knew getting the feel stumped beginners. Her method held massive teaching potential. Liz pondered this. He asked the expert if it worked for combat. Coraline questioned the broad combat's use. He told her to imagine wielding another's magic in battle. Staying in contact was the problem. Combat shifts instantly and mobility is survival. Coraline preferred learning magic himself. He preferred direct power, warning that weirdos lurk everywhere. Liz wasn't shocked. Elite mages always think this way. So she asked about production class magic. Coraline called it impossible. He knew she'd hate it, but magic classes are like oil and water. They just don't mix. Mages turn raw magic into fire or ice, while production classes reshape materials with magic. Combat class magical resonance bonds creatures like taming animals, but that's its limit. Production classes resonated with tools and materials for repairs and enchantments, but couldn't with living beings. Her plan's dead. Coraline thought this was normal, but her father was on another level. Liz insisted magic charging is enchantment-based. He screamed through the struggle. Everyone thought magic items couldn't improve, but they altered mithril using penetration theory. Magic worked differently for everyone, but the secrets stayed hidden. She refused to take no for an answer. Debate raged as Liz argued Miyabi defied common sense despite tamers excelling with columns, setting precedent. She challenged his anime-inanimate line. Coraline matched her, admitting he considered the same and studies found microscopic. Liz's argument collapsed as she scrambled to recover, while Coraline mocked her ancient sources. He praised her knowledge, then asked her school. When she said she was self-taught, he froze. He blasts her for adventuring instead of getting career help. Liz snapped private schools cost money. She was busy working. Coraline called it a no-brainer. Her magic too low for adventuring. Liz was floored when he questioned her unsuitable career. He'd sensed it holding hands. Years of magic study tuned his senses, and he knew this school was elite. Reminded her their doors were open to her talent. She was qualified. Leaving Coraline, Chiffon revealed the Royal Academy is state-funded. Admission required a guild or noble letter plus a professor's recommendation, but it was the country's top spot for magic research. Liz asked why Chiffon brought her. Chiffon admitted it. Liz wanted to trust Chiffon's motives and her faith in her potential. She asked Skiffin why she helped so much, with no way to repay her. Was this for Cress? Liz saw Chiffon's confusion and suggested the Miyabi incident was rigged to unite them. Skiffin agreed. Liz weighed the Academy's impact. Line was impossible. 1. Licenses 2. Expired 3 and 4. Juggling 5. School 6. Adventuring 7 and 8. Life 9. Enrolling splits the party, forcing Miyabi back to freelancing. Liz had no choice. She confessed she's materialistic. Without Miyabi, she couldn't cook gourmet meals, so she dove into magic research. This was her dream, and she refused to pass it up. She refused to quit adventuring. Watching Miyabi's back was the coolest thing ever. Risking lives to save others defined her growing up. She told Chiffin to just say the word, a stunned Chiffin. Chival's rapid topic shifts dizzy Liz. Chiffon admitted to hiding secrets, acknowledging Liz's trust issues. But her feelings were unchanged, urging Liz to use that trust. Liz's gut told her Chiffon was legit. Miyabi and Crest douse the flames, but the damage is massive. Captain Cavalry arrives for Miyabi. Miyabi questioned Crescent knew him, and he confirmed it. He was Alish's brother. Miyabi, surprised, saw their intense stares match. Cavalry thanked Miyabi for saving his idiot sister. Crest asked if the captain was on squirt duty. Cavalry confirmed it. Cavalry added his master messaged Crest after reading it. Crest asked if Miyabi would return to Angoline, and Miyabi was down for whatever. Crest wanted Miyabi to teach him more crafting, but leaving, he forgot to discuss next steps with Liz. He wasn't worried, planning to talk later, but back home, Liz revealed her full scholarship, leaving Miyabi stunned. Instantly praised her. Liz asked if that was all, but he joked about baking a cake. She meant the party's future. Miyabi panicked, but Liz insisted they keep adventuring during school, asking him to stay in the capital. Miyabi puzzled by her stress, he'd never refuse. Liz stunned by his casual attitude. Pruning their base was tough, risky. Pruning their base was tough, risky. Miyabi asked Liz to lead Angoline, but she refused to leave Alina and Redcliffe. Miyabi forgot his goodbyes to the workshop crew, making Liz panic they'd disband, so he bopped her head to calm her down. The 590 km trek to Angoline from the capital took 2 weeks each way, impossible year-round. He proposed adventuring in Angoline while studying in the capital, but Liz doubted it was possible. Miyabi suddenly envisioned a train, a machine alien to this world. Ashward train confused Liz. Miyabi calls it courseless transport. Picture a rail from it to be a metal box gliding it. Liz couldn't grasp the concept, overwhelmed. Miyabi just showed her to save time. Crafting a miniature model, this was his first here, though common in dwarven cities. Miyabi promised fast progress once she mastered the concept, an underground rail cart linking Angoline to the capital. Liz gasped. He explained above ground routes, wrist towns, and monsters, making underground ideal. Liz was floored by the scale, struggling to process the massive machinery. Miyabi reminded her they'd tunneled a mountain, so this wasn't new. His crafts met practical needs. It felt like a stroke of genius, but Miyabi knew one massive problem remained. Actually, let's make it even more dynamic. It felt like a stroke of genius. He asked if they could just go ahead, but Liz firmly refused. The production guild controls the roads, and with Landham jailed, starting this massive project without approval is impossible. Miyabi saw skills weren't enough. Nell Eve returns from shopping as Chiffon reveals the Duke rules every guild. Duke Trent Baldini's approval made the project work. Confused how she knew their secret plan, Skiffing revealed she was just answering Mel's request. Their underground transport project between Angoline and the capital stalled. Miyabi gaped. Mel over her, quipped tough times were a noble's problem. Only Mel could pull that off. He was stunned. Chiffon, of all people, intervened fast. Elliston crafts another toy, rapidly strengthening their bond. Chiffon's goal, Liz maintains her adventure license at the academy. Mel was vague, but Chiffon got the plan. Miyabi demanded how it worked. Chiffon says the guild wants public works, and since her father did it first, Baldini's support seals the deal. Liz questioned its safety, but White Chiffon helped them immensely. Overkill for a commoner's selfish request, Chiffon claims she's just boosting their power. Admitted people rarely trusted her. She aimed to educate and free lizards, with a secondary adventure license. She sought Angline's profit. Resources were dry and trade was failing. She knew the struggle between Angoline and the capital better than anyone. She apologized, confessing her actions were selfish. Liz welcomed Chiffon's honesty and trust. Chiffon, surprised by Liz, was confused. Miyabi broke down the project with hard data. Angoline is 600 kilometers from the capital, but the subway takes the shortest route. Puzzled by the subway, Mel had Miyabi show a model. He revealed the vehicle, boasting it runs perfectly without horses. Closest engine was a steam engine, but no recipe existed. He couldn't improvise one. He offered a wind magic block instead. Snapped into place, the model set glided independently on track. The duration enchantment keeps it running for 24 hours, and with enough wind, it outruns any human. Chiffon asked how long it'd take. Miyabi predicts 12 hours. After their 2-week journey, Skiffon was impressed. Liz and Miyabi's eyes bulged. He's used to her calm, yet loves her exaggerated reactions. Chiffon stayed calm thanks to her father's weird training. Lordship usually goes to sons, but her father chose her, enraging the other families. Used to the constant complaints, she embraced the weird. Chiffon grasped the situation. She'd written Liz's recommendation and would submit it with a report. They thanked her. Miyabi prepped for Angoline, and Liz handled one final task. Chiffon urged Liz to study for spring exams and stay in the capital. The required research report kept Liz busy. Liz asked if Miyabi could wait until spring. After a moment's thought, Miyabi decided to head back, urging her to stay in touch. Despite Liz's worry, he had nothing to do in the capital until spring. His goal: start the subway project. Someone now ensured his safety. Liz asked to stall the departure. Chiffon tells Miyabi he'll negotiate with her father. SCLPWAY rights needed sorting, and the duchy wanted a payoff. Miyabi agreed, but was too nervous to handle it. Chiffon told him to fix his priorities. High society held many agendas. Some helped him, some opposed. Even her own. Miyabi thanked her. Before leaving, he sensed a welcome quiet. Chiffon revealed Alicia was stripped of her attendant duties that day. A month after leaving Liz in the capital, Miyabi and Mel faced trial after trial on the road. They surged into Angoline. Miyabi thanked Mel for joining his long trip. Danger hit. Mel expected it. Miyabi's poor writing skills caused their delay. Angoline's heavy snow caught him off guard his first winter. Mel called it typical, but she stayed warm this year. Liking her cute outfit, Miyabi asked where she was headed. She mentioned the Duke's home, her plan: nap then ditch him. Miyabi grabs her, begging for protection, but Nell reminds him she's only here for the trip. Seeing his panic, he reluctantly babysat him. They hit the noble district, checking their progress. Miyabi memorized his presentation. Unwarned of approaching guards, he tried to stay calm, but entering the gate, Miyabi froze in shock. The garden was replaced by rows of vinyl greenhouses. Something snatched his leg and he froze, fearing an evil spirit. He realized it was Karen, exhausted and back to square one. His expression annoyed Miyabi, twisting his face. Karen froze. Mel was with his master. It often met at the workshop. Mel didn't recall him. Miyabi asked why Karen was at the Duke's. Karen reminded him they built the Duke's baiting facilities together. Impressed by their greenhouses, the Duke gave them the entire project. Miyabi was stunned. Karen pulled it off alone. Even with help, the quotas were impossible. Now they're buried in deliveries as Karen breaks down. Nell's hand on his shoulder stopped his tears. She called him a pro, too busy to cry. Spurred by her words, Karen vowed to reveal her creations. Miyabi marveled at her 2-month growth. He spoke too soon as Karen begged for help. Miyabi helped for an hour, leaving only the water heater. He wondered if a central heater distributing heat was more efficient than one for each building. Karen considered it, but the client demanded this setup. Duke Baldini appeared, catching Miyabi off guard. Both wondered why the other was there. He was announced but never showed, so Karen asked if Miyabi was his client. Duke praised Miyabi's successful escort and how he crushed the extra request. He anticipated Miyabi's future. Miyabi thanked him, questioning their worth. Duke was shocked. Miyabi detoured while everyone else waited. Inside, the guild directors down. Directors Georgie and Elda waited arrive, and Duke Baldini asks why Miyabi looks so shocked. His grand proposal demanded a gathering. The tense room made Miyabi sweat and shake. The Duke liked his idea. Elder called Swift's travels a merchant dream, but doubted it was possible. Production Guild Master Georgie opposed the plan, calling it wasteful. He teased her like always, but as they bickered, Miyabi wondered why they expected such a high price. He almost clarified, but the Duke agreed with both. Elder warned the stakes were massive. Failure would ruin everyone and costs were spiraling. The Duke asked for train blueprints, but Miyabi had nothing. The Duke asked for a timeline, and Miyabi gave him 6 months. Baldini demanded a finished prototype in 3 months or no deal. Duke demanded a 1 km track, expecting working tunnel and train in 3 months. Connecting the angling Cleopatra recorder required public work status. Miyabi aimed for a lenient timeline, but 3 months was impossible, even for him. Don tried helping Miyabi, but the Duke warned it was impossible alone. They needed Master Lewis. Georgie asked why the test run angles. The lords ordered strict tests before joining the capital, so without proof, the Duke refused to sign. Georgie saw the dwarf contract as a home renovation fiasco. LDA interjected, prioritizing the Merchant Guild's rights if the project goes public over minor details. Georgie mocked her greed, but Elda insisted money was everything. 5 ducal houses controlled all land rights. House Baldini, now in control, claims all rights for public works. The talk focused on universal transport, threatening merchant profits. Miyabi sensed the conversation souring, realizing control needed immediate resolution. He'd assumed the Duke had final say, which surprised him. The Duke focused on logistics, making Miyabi wonder if his voice even mattered. He insisted his only goal was helping Liz get to school. He couldn't talk to the Duke privately. Sensing his stress, Nell kicked his leg. He urged him to speak. Weakness had no place. He designed and built the subway, so he earned a say in its use. Miyabi agreed with Mel. He did it for Liz, so he had to speak up to finish the job. He raised his hand, shouting demands. His outburst shocked everyone. Miyabi proposed it for personal use, but the scope kept expanding. Zion cuts him off, calling it state property and accusing him of theft. He's crossed the line. Miyabi snapped, if he can't use it, the project is worthless, threatening to leave them to it. Duke intervened, promising a successful prototype gets the contract worth 10 years of income. Despite the stakes, the Duke questioned Miyabi's resolve, but Miyabi didn't flinch. He didn't need money, just subway access when needed. The Duke agreed and added it to the terms. Don doubted, but the Duke had no choice. Stuck without Miyabi, he warns a failed prototype voids the contract. Miyabi promised success. After thanks, the meeting ended, everyone scattered. Danon headed straight for Master Weiss's place. Weiss cut him off before he could recap the meeting, prioritizing food. Dan tried talking business, but Wei told him to shut up and eat as Sid served Miyabi. He claims he cooked and eyes the food. Miyabi relied on skills so long he forgot home cooking, simple veggies and salt. Tasting it relieved him. Duke stressed over his daughter's mess. The guildmaster's assistant sobbed. The leaner asks what's wrong, and the assistant reveals the guildmaster never returned. He got a message from the Lord's manor at noon. He'd be back tonight. He failed. The rival horse beat him there, making him too late to return. Leaner suggested writing the branch manager. He ditched the papers to buy them time. Miyabi and the guildmaster lunged for the final bite. Miyabi courteously insisted the guildmaster take it. The aide, thanking him, silently accepted. Dan recalled Baldy's words. The Duke didn't believe Miyabi was a spy. Zan obeyed his lord's orders, never questioning them. Miyabi was liked and seemed harmless, making Zion question his true nature. Seeing Miyabi's work at the Duke's manor, Zan asks why he became an adventurer. Zan saw his skill meant he didn't need support, he'd earn more in the production guild. Miyabi, unsure it was a good reason, shared his adventurer story. Zian was annoyed Miyabi couldn't pay a toll and had to borrow money. Zan dubbed it fatless. Miyabi agreed, admitting he'd be lost without Liz. Zan asked if he moved to Angoline for work or another reason. Miyabi lost his parents young and grew up with relatives, but now he's independent and keeps his own pay. Zan asked if he was an outsider, and the abbey vaguely agreed. Asked if rare, Zion called it common, but most migrants stayed home. He wondered how long the abbey had these inventory skills. Miyabi feared looking suspicious. He naturally honed his skills, always loving to craft. His story was insane, but he wasn't lying. Weiss cut in, reminding Zion they had business. Zion pitched Miyabi's train project, and the workshop was hyped for the massive order. Weiss praised Miyabi's grit. Zan doubted the project, but Weiss dismissed him. He says real men chase big dreams, just as Weiss mentions the workshop. He caught workers eavesdropping, then shouted, "Stop gossiping, get back to work." Miyabi told Weiss not to help if he's busy, he'll handle it alone. Workers warned him not to underestimate these projects, worried Miyabi would overwork. Sid saw a light winter schedule, but Weiss pushed to start now and hit the deadline. Days later, apprentice blacksmith Sid and Karen, fresh from the greenhouse, joined the team. Miyabi, relieved, introduced Mel as their escort. They thanked her. He treks through the woods toward the prototype site. Yabai admired the fluffy snow. Sid found him strange. Adventurers aren't that professional. He tried setting an example, but froze as Miyabi instantly erased a massive tree. Karen told Sid to stop screaming like a monkey, but he snapped, demanding how she stayed so calm. Terrified, Karen called Miyabi a monster, expecting such feats. Miyabi then questioned Karen's inventory training. Karen bragged he could store a month of lunches. Miyabi was stunned by his progress, and he admitted she was right. Collecting roadside pebbles and weeds expanded his inventory. Sid realized Karen's odd behavior was training. He asked if Miyagi stored the tree in his inventory, and Miyagi confirmed it. Miyabi explained training expands inventory and hones gathering skills, offering Sid and Karen a try. Drained from work, they hit the dirt, wondering why they're even here. Sid noted zero progress on the subway, but Miyabi casually revealed he'd already finished the tunnel. He shows them. A stunned Sid asks how he dug it in a day. Miyagi ignored the question, declared he'd start the train car tomorrow. He announced they'd spend the night spawning a cozy house in the tunnel. He invited Karen and Sid. He'd underestimated Miyabi. Karen called him a monster. Now Sid finally saw the truth. Why was Miyabi suddenly on the renovation project? Even Wise respected him. Blacksteel Sid wouldn't let Miyagi steal the spotlight, denying his genius. Next morning, noises outside woke Miyabi. He found Sid working, asked what he did. Sid explained he set distance markers. Eyeballing wouldn't work for a prototype. He prepped rope for later. Miyabi conceded, still puzzled. Sid couldn't picture the train car but wouldn't waste time. Ready for the core work, Miyabi tried to answer. Sid refused to lose, silencing him. Nell asks about the score, but Sid's just hyped and tells her not to kill his vibe. Karen wakes up and asks if the train car is today's focus. With time short, he demands Miyabi's plan. Miyabi admits it's tough, but the prototype just needs to prove the tech works. After the start and stop in their set. Phase 1 solved the power source. Test vehicle model X used guild materials. Karen asks about the rear gear, and Abby explains this metal propulsion block moves by blasting air. He warned them back, then nudged the iron mass. It lurched, hurling him and the wreckage to the tunnel's end. Nell's quick save stopped disaster. Karen panicked. Miyabi seemed doomed. Nell calmed them, urging Miyabi to grab his toy. He learned to start low, increasing power. On his second try, he nudged the train forward. Fear and relief warred as they clutched Mel. Karen demanded, "What's next?" Trigger pulled, they couldn't stop it. Miyabi's simplest idea, reabsorb infused magic. Karen knew it needed power to move. They couldn't stop it. Miyabi saw it coming, but Karen was stunned. Wheel friction kills the power, causing it to stall. It's basically a bike, and high speeds are impossible to control. Brakes were needed, but he knew nothing about mechanics. Without modern tech, he wondered how old trains even stopped. Calming, he realized his mistake. Friction slowed it, a weakness to exploit. Another failure, jamming a stick against the tire didn't work as brakes. The ordeal ended, traumatizing Karen and Miyabi. Sid arrived and instantly knew slowing it this way was a death trap. Miyabi brainstormed. Train and car brakes were too complex, but bike brakes could work, so he sketched the designs to test them. What he drew was barely an idea, and he wasn't sure it would work. He used it daily, so it was his only move. He needed a physical reference, so Sid asked if carriage brakes would work. Miyabi was clueless, but carriage brakes were perfect. Sid showed him how pressing down gripped the tires, leaving him stunned. Sid's carriage knowledge impressed Karen. He said they're rare in the country, but downtown Angoline is crawling with them. Miyabi boasted his incredible observation skills. Karen didn't get it, but he claimed no ordinary person could. Miyabi realized it was weird. He hadn't even noticed it, like it wasn't there. He saw carriages as mere background. Mesmerized by the carriages and architecture, he completely lost focus. Focus on the parts, not the whole. Miyabi admitted Sid saw the world clearer, and Sid was stoked to get such cool praise. Acting cool, he claimed observation has always been the key to an artist's talent. Miyabi ignored his bragging, wondering if they'd get mad if he stole the carriage. Sid shut them down after endless rounds of testing. They stopped fine, but brake R&D hit a snag. Braking caused massive vibrations. Blueprints in hand, he thought the worst was over, but every friction material they tested just snapped the metal. The material failed after 2 runs. They weakened it to stabilize the damage, and he finally had to admit it. Those brakes were. Though impractical after a grueling day, he made a hot spring to relax. Luxury at a job site felt weird. Sid demanded the plan. They'd been at this a month and a half, just the testing phase. Miyabi knew their approach was flawed but had no other ideas. Sid, pathetic, told him to quit. It made him feel bad since the design was his. He suggested slowing down, but since going underground is zero fun, he refused. Sid thought a leaf landed on the water. Sid blew it at Miyabi, swirling the leaves around him. He mocked them as bagworms. Enraged, Miyabi grabbed tools too, blasting everything back at him. They laughed at their own stupidity. Once they relaxed, Sid told him inspiration can't be forced, it'll hit eventually. He knew that, but didn't know when. 2 weeks later, Miyabi hits Hanks. He rushed to finish Miyabi's request by this morning. Opening the door, he revealed his gadget would move to his specs. He still wondered if he should reveal his plan for it today. Crest greeted everyone, but the maids worried he wasn't resting in his room. Yet he claimed his Cochrane plan went smoothly. Hard to believe a prince told his nation that. He was busy in the workshop, but they asked if he forgot the date. The capital's Versailles festival welcomed spring. He left for Angoulême. Father wished him safe journey. Crest should be grateful for any send-off. They waited when he emerged. He spotted Duke Greenville. 5 noble houses serve the crown. He leads the strongest, so seeing him here shocks Crest. He hadn't heard he was in town, and Greenville felt honored by the festival invite. He repeated the question before Crest could even answer. He was glad he hadn't fled town. Unlike his duchy, monster hunting was popular, the perfect place for combat experience. Crest admitted he lacked skill and needed Duke Trenton's training. Greenville stayed silent, simply noting a change of scenery would help. Rulers must shed blood for their country. He told him to improve himself or he'd disgrace the royal family. Insulting him, he left Crest. Guards raged, powerless to act. The Baldini Ducal Guard captain, Raven Cavalry, welcomed them. Alicia watched her brother greet the royals while packing the carriage. Whispers spread that she'd lose her position and be kicked back to the duchy. She slammed her gear into the carriage, her brother demanding an explanation. She loads the cart and asks what's wrong. Raven warns her to be careful or she'll disgrace the Baldingi family. She snaps back that if he cared about safety, he'd use crates instead of sacks. That's what she'd do as captain. Raven replied she understood the tough job of managing garrison soldiers. The cavalry family backed House Ducal with loyalty, not power. They guarded and served the family. Alicia stopped him, saying she knew that. No sense for her to be where she couldn't protect her lady. Raven ignored her outburst and ordered her home. He ordered her serve her master or marry for lineage. He claimed it was all for her own good. When the prototype reached Zion, Georgie and Zelda arrived with Duke Baldini. The Duke ordered me to show them his 3 months of progress. They felt the wind and knew they were helpless. The Abbey said it was in the build specs. Guardians offered an escort, but Baldini refused, claiming he could defend himself. The wind strengthened as they descended. They were stunned, but the train's design made entry impossible. Zion found no horse, Miyabi's claim empty. Miyabi thanked them for writing today. They announced a novel excursion from Angoulême West Station. The whistle screams. The train blasted off, shocking everyone. Georgia freaked as the train moved. It vibrated so much Zion questioned its safety, so Miyabi warned them not to open windows. Elder wondered its speed compared to a horse-drawn carriage. Aldini was the calmest, as if he'd ridden trains, and asked Miyabi to sit. Miyabi explains wind magic powers the train. Elder was stunned he reached such insane speeds using pure wind. He says wind-enchanted blocks power the mechanism. Aldini wondered about the hold iron box. Miyabi revealed the trick. The train slowed to a crawl using only the brakes. Getting the train up to speed was tough, so he reversed the wind power. He hit the rear block to accelerate and the front to brake, all thanks to one tiny engine hole. Sounded simple, but you need help to work both levers. Reverse thrust and mechanical brakes provide built-in backup. The audience stepped off the train, still reeling in shock. Miyabi couldn't blame them. Horses set the world's speed. This was faster for them than he thought. Balding admitted he barely believed his proposal was doable at first. Miyabi pulled off a massive feat, securing the country's future. The Duke refused to invest. Miyabi froze, then panicked. Was it the wind or the rattling? Either way, they bumped into each other. The Duke calmed him, explaining it was because only he could use it. His enchantment makes the wind blocks long-lasting, not permanent. One day, magic and M will run dry, halting everything. Same concern as the greenhouse project. Miyabi asked what it meant. Boiling massive amounts of water or moving heavy iron was unsustainable without magic to rival his own. He asked what happens when he's gone for upkeep in 10 or 50 years. This was just a dusty relic, so investing was pointless. He added a new condition to the contract. Bear alone will handle further construction.